Out of nowhere, question of the week is going to our guest tonight, the realist, Dwayne Allen. Hello, sir. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, of course. Now, as you know, man, we've had the rest of your faction on our show.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon the Guy, Hugh has the third, and the one and only Hollywood Jack Daddy Brian H. Waters.
Those are great names.
So my question to you tonight, man, is if you had the money in the bank in your possession,
Yes.
and one of your faction members were champion, who would you most likely cash in on?
Most likely cash in on. That's a good question. I probably cash in on the guy. He probably wouldn't see it coming. He probably wouldn't see it coming.
How would you cash in on him? Would it be after a match or would you just?
Yeah, of course. You kidding me? Let me set it up for you, right? So the match is over. We come out to celebrate. I'm talking Kevin Owens style. We get out there, we make it cool. And I'm like, you know what? Once he's celebrating, I pick him up, make sure he's good, make sure he's got no bumps and bruises. Quick roll up, shrug my shoulders. Nothing personal, buddy. Just business.
What title would you?
I wouldn't beat him over the head with a briefcase or anything like that. Nah, it's just like it's nothing personal. But I'm like, he wouldn't see it coming.
Hey, it still stays within the faction, though, right? It's like as long as it stays with the family.
Main event mafia rules. If it worked in TNA, god dang it can work here.
What title would you be aiming for? Would it be a WWE Championship, TNA Championship, an AEW Championship?
It's got to be the WWE Championship. You kidding me? 70 years of lineage.
Hey, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with that belt. Oh, Brandon, if you have the championship, which you have multiple championships, just keep some eyes on the back of your head because the realness is out there, and he's waiting for some.
He's definitely got the most championships, so
definitely does. Well, we have a lot to talk about. Fox is dropping SmackDown. John Moxley is on some other crazy stuff, and we have two different rivalries I want to talk about. But before we get to that, let's just go ahead and start our show.
All right.
Four sides of the ring, four sides of the ring. Everybody out here got an opinion, your ego shall die in the ring. If the debate's getting heated, we heating, you know it's been fire in the ring. We them guys in the ring, leave with your pride in the sling. Four sides of the ring, four sides of the ring. Everybody out here got an opinion, your ego shall die in the ring. If the debate's getting heated, we heating, you know it's been fire in the ring. We them guys in the ring, leave with your pride in the sling. Four sides of the ring.
What is going on? Ringsiders, your favorite faction is back. I am your host, the founder, Markus Hernandez. I am alongside Nitram. I am alongside Chano Hayes. And we got a special guest. He was part of our out of nowhere question of the week. But the one, the only, the realness, Dwayne Allen is here with us, hanging out and getting ready to talk some wrestling with your boys. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing?
Good. How everybody's doing over here?
What's cracking? Four sides of the ring. I'm happy to be here, good brothers.
Okay, man, we're happy to have you, man. We're happy to have you. Before we get started, Dwayne, we love to ask all our guests a quick question. Who is the realness Dwayne Allen, and why does he love professional wrestling?
Oh boy, you have cracked open a can of worms, but I am glad that you asked me that question. It's because I am more than happy to indulge in my wrestling fandom, as I always do. The real Dwayne Allen is a gentleman that grew up in the mean streets of Baltimore City. Brothers, my dad, into the business early, wrestling on Saturday mornings. We're talking wrestling buddies. We're talking action figures. And I grew up in an era that is arguably the greatest era of all time, in the Attitude Era. So I have been exposed to lots of wrestling on many different fronts. I have designed wrestling gear since I was 12 years old. I have collected wrestling belts, whether they were plastic or not, because as you can see, I got one that's nice and real. But the real Dwayne Allen is just one of the realest wrestling fans that you will ever meet. One of our taglines at the Wrestling Wrealm is superior wrestling intellect. It's because I never settled for just watching the show. I needed more. I studied this show. I read this show. I learned the history. I became obsessed with wrestling at a young age. And guess what? In some of my most darkest days, when times weren't as bright as they are now, wrestling was always the escape. And I appreciate it so much. And I have learned everything I can in my own fields, in my own trades, in my own skills and abilities. And I have been able to apply it to my fandom in the pro wrestling space. So as I stand before you today, as a host, as a producer, as a designer, all these things come from some part of me that engaged in wrestling as a child. And guess what? As a young man, I'm still engaging. So that, in a short note, is exactly who the real Dwayne Allen is. I'm as real as it gets. It's because I like to keep it real, but I like to be thought-provoking. I like to engage in conversations where I make you think twice about maybe of what you feel, but also the way things really are. So that, in a nutshell, for the most part, is who the realness is. I hope I broke that down nice and tight.
I mean, no, you definitely did. You hit it on the button, man, where you definitely, you said you make people think twice. And we were on Championship Culture together, and you made me think twice, about a certain title. And
huh?
Hey,
Marcus, what title was that? You mind saying it in front of everybody live? Huh?
We were talking about the World Heavyweight Championship, and you might have sold me. You might have sold me on the Wing Eagle. Okay? I'm not gonna even lie. But no, man, hey, we appreciate you coming on tonight, man, hopping on and then talking some wrestling with us. We truly do appreciate taking time. I know your Baltimore Ravens are playing currently right now, and you don't have the chance to actually enjoy and sit and watch the game, but you get to enjoy and sit and talk some great wrestling topics with us.
Of course. Any day of the week, wrestling over football, every day. Brian, they should be so proud of me that I said that.
Well, you are in the building with the Residential Haters. They are a tag team, so I'm preparing you right now. They do say some things that that might get you to be like, oh, come on now, guys. It's not that bad. But
we got room. We got room.
It's funny how the tag team works. Listen, it's
the
funny how the tag team works.
The play haters ball.
Listen, me and Martin, we don't agree on anything, but yeah, we still in tandem when it comes to hate. You know what I mean?
Listen, that's the craziest thing to decide to be like on one page about. Like, listen, we don't agree on everything, but we can definitely make sure we hate on something. You guys are definitely stiff. Goodness gracious. I was like, ooh.
No, yeah, these two guys, man, they get us going sometimes, but sometimes they could disagree with each other, even though they're part of the same tag team, like Fraxium. You know what I mean? Sometimes they don't see eye to eye, but when it does come down to it and they're defending their titles, they might be unstoppable.
Did you call them Fraxium? You gave them like a name. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Please tell me you're not the only person that's calling them Fraxium right now. Is this new? Am I late to the party?
You might be late. Fraxium is what they call themselves.
Actually, they're not trying to butt in, but their actual name is even worse. It's the Supersonic Duo.
I don't believe that. I looked it up.
Name.
I don't believe that.
They don't have a name. That's not their name. I looked at them WWE.com. It's Nathan Frazier and Axiom. That's their name.
What I thought. That's why I was like, wait a minute. Is this a thing? Fraxium? It sounds like a tabloid couples. I
could have sworn the Rascals called them the Fraxium when they said let's put up the tag team titles.
Shout out to the Rascals. I'll take that.
Man, hey, let's get into our first topic.
Let's do it.
I want to talk about Friday Night SmackDown. As we know, they're coming up on a season finale, if you will.
Okay.
The network Fox is dropping them. First question to this two-part question I have is: do you think Fox will regret dropping Friday Night SmackDown from the network? Let's start with our guest, Dwayne.
I'm going to say no. Now, let me tell you why I say no. Now, what I didn't explain to you when I was breaking down exactly who the real Dwayne Allen is that I am a TV production major. So I've studied a few things about how TV networks operate. Not only that, I grew up in the era where TV networks used to own professional wrestling. As you can tell, some things have changed. Most TV networks are arrogant when losing programming. We're looking at it right now with Warner Brothers, and the whole NBA situation is that most networks do not care if they've had one product on their show, and when they lose it or they decide they don't want to pay the upped price for it to keep it on their network, is because most of the time they're arrogant. If you don't believe me, WCW was a successful wrestling company that Time Warner did not want on their network. They didn't care that it made money. They didn't care that it was one of their top rated shows. They just didn't want it on there. So television networks have a habit of believing that they are bigger than whatever product that they put on. So even if they probably will miss it in some way, shape, or form, Fox has been around for a long time and they make a ton of money. I don't think they're going to be missing it that much. Like I said, most TV networks are that arrogant where they're like, listen, we'll find something else or we'll find a new way to reciprocate whatever eyes you were bringing to the product moving forward. Will Fox be the same? Who knows? Too soon to tell. But do I think they'll miss it? Probably not. And the second part was, I'm sorry?
The second part of the question is, do you think, knowing how petty the WWE could be sometimes, do you think on this final episode, Triple H might pull something out of his back pocket, like, oh, you should have kept this because now look where we're going. Look what we're about to do in this storyline. Roman Reigns is back.
You know what? At first, I was probably like, no, who cares? But since you put it that way, you have changed my mind because I'm like, you know what? And I called Nick Khan and Triple H the new tag team champions of professional wrestling. They're really shutting everything down. And as petty as they can be, that DX version of Triple H is still in there. They probably would do something crazy. Now, there's two schools of thoughts on it. On one hand, you say, okay, hey, look, this is what you're missing. And it could be like a setup. Hey, you know what? Let's do something big last on Fox and then show up on USA and blow it out the water. Or on the other hand, they might just save it. They might, I don't want to say they want to tank the ratings, but maybe they say, hey, we're going to give them a medium show. We're not going to let them go out with a bang because at the end of the day, it's Fox that's going to benefit from, WWE having one last hurrah as far as the show is concerned. But maybe they might meet somewhere in the middle where they say, hey, listen, how about this? We're not going to have the greatest show in the world on Friday, but what we'll do is we'll set it up for the next week when we go to USA, and we'll use Friday as the platform to launch us into next Friday, and then we'll have the biggest show. So I don't know. It's a tough call. I don't think Triple H is probably going to go too crazy about it, but you never know. Triple H can be kind of petty.
You never know. You're absolutely right. Honestly, I didn't even think about it like that as well. It's, maybe Fox is just like, well, why don't we just, like you said, meet in the middle, do some cool, right? It's all about the money for these guys. Like, do something cool, but don't do something spectacular. And like you said, is Fox really going to miss them? Probably not. I mean, football season just kicked off, so they have a bunch of football they got to show. So
lots of advertising dollars.
That's very true. I don't know if they'll allow. It'd be interesting to watch Friday night and see if they throw out USA on the Fox network. They might. Who knows?
That's bold. USA might pay for it just to stick it to them.
Yeah, that's true too. USA might pay for it.
They have been. The last
they have been advertising.
Okay, so Fox is just like, who cares? How you feeling about that, China? How do you feel about Fox dropping Friday Night SmackDown? You think they'll be missed, or you think Fox will regret it? And do you think anything special is going to happen on this final episode?
No, I don't think nothing special going to happen. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Whenever Roman's not on SmackDown, it's kind of lackluster. Cody's not really doing a good job holding down that show. I'm not going to hold you. Listen, I'm true to myself. You know what I mean?
I was waiting for this moment. This is why I came here.
Yeah, so it's like, you know what I mean? I don't think they'll miss it, but at the same time, we won't miss SmackDown being on Fox. I'm tired of something going on. Segments is blacked out.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna hold you. Me, Marcus, Brandy, we went to that SmackDown in New York, and we were going crazy. And everybody was like, "Yo, this is a terrible SmackDown." Not because the show's bad. Fox keeps muting and blacking out the show in every 3-4 minutes. And the crazy thing was, I didn't realize because us New Yorkers, we're kind of petty, we're loud, we're raunchy, we care about our nicks. You know what I mean? So like we was cussing the whole entire show in unison.
Oh wow.
And so Fox muted us out. Like I get it, but at the same time, like, what do you think what's gonna happen at a live TV showing, a live TV event? Like people are gonna get loud, you know what I mean? It's just the way of the world, the way how thing works. So we're not gonna miss Fox more than anything. They definitely won't be missed. It is what it is, and good riddance. USA, basically, WWE has made the USA Network, and I'm sure they're glad to have us on the show. You know what I mean? You know what? We'll match whatever you guys have. Just come on over to us. We'll take care of you guys. Don't even worry about it. And it works for both parties. You know what I mean? WWE and USA have a relationship for over 20 years. They know each other. They don't got to lie to each other. They know what the product is. They're happy to keep them around. They say, we can't pay you $5 billion for Raw, but we can give you a couple $100 million for SmackDown. Does that work? Yeah, that works. And that's the type of relationship that the WWE wants to keep nurturing. You know what I mean? They're not going to bite and they're not going to backstab them. For what? Because what if they go to another network and they're like, nah, this doesn't work. And it's like, USA, do you want us back? It's like that. It's like, if you got something good going, don't break up with the girl. You know what I mean? Just make it work. Just make it work. But ultimately,
just figure it out.
Just figure it out. But do I think it's going to be a good show? If Roman's not on it, definitely not. Cody can't carry the show. And Solo can't either. I'm not going to. Jacob Fatu's a dog. I can't. Where's Can the good American hero Cody Rhodes save SmackDown this Friday with no Roman Reigns? No.
No, you might be right. You might be right.
Early. Sheesh.
1,000%.
No, man. I mean, you're absolutely right. You know, and like you said, WWE has made the USA Network. Longest reigning televised show in history. Maybe if you really want to compare it, if USA dropped WWE and Law and Order, they might not be a network. They might not be a network, you know. So
that'd be too big of a loss. Imagine lost to Law and Order and the WWE.
You can't have both. You kidding me? You have any refunds of Law and Order? You don't hear gong gong.
You know, so yeah, you might be absolutely right, man. I'm not going to say Cody can't carry SmackDown, but he's no Roman Reigns. He isn't the tribal chief. You know, it's been a little lackluster. We hope that it gets better, right? At least the IWC hope that it gets better. These Cody crybabies, man, they really want to see something great, and it feels like it's being forced, but it forced in a good way, kind of like how we were forced the big dog, and we got the tribal chief out of it. So maybe we accept this superhero, super Cody Rhodes.
Wait,
and then
I got a question for you, Dwayne. Since we're on the Cody topic.
Yeah, of course.
How do you feel about Cody Rhodes' title reign?
I feel like I'm about to have a moment. I'm so glad you asked me a question because I didn't want to interrupt. How do I feel about his title reign?
How do you feel about the title reign? In a general aspect, doesn't have to be crazy.
No. I think the WWE is stalling. They're waiting for something to happen, and they're not giving it to us now. They're just buying time. Think about it. They knew the deal was up. They weren't going to waste all the good stuff on Fox, knowing they were leaving. Like, you know what I mean? They're about to go to USA, like you guys said. Let alone WWE. The McMahons have a long history with USA Network because they had the All American Wrestling show before before Turner bought them out and WCW became one company outside of just the show. And when Turner took over Jim Crockett Promotions, right? So it's like, why would we sit there and start developing this storyline on Fox, knowing that in a few months we're going to go to USA and we want to keep this relationship, and we're able to, since we're moving Raw to a streaming platform, which seems to be the future. So I'm like, because don't get me wrong, you brothers are not the first ones to say this. People are like, oh, Cody, this. I said, there's no way in the world you gave us Roman. You have already conditioned us in the Triple H era that long-term storylines do work. You can find a way to make it work. And I know we talk about it later. They found a way to make it work with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. It was just as hot as it was supposed to be, but that's like 3, 4, 5 months, and you found a way to work. So why is the top guy, your WWE champion, seem to be stalling or stale in a stalemate? I said to myself, they're stalling. They're waiting for something else to happen, but they got to get through this time period. They got to get all the stuff out the way. It's because now they're going to make a big splash on the same network. You say, well, where do you get that from, Realness? They're doing the same thing with NXT and CW, right? There's certain things that they're giving us. There's certain things they're not giving us. It's the same way with Raw. Now, Raw is a little bit more loaded, so we're not paying attention to it as much, but the same thing. They're going to make a splash on Netflix. The Rock is stalling. Roman Reigns is stalling. They're doing these. You know when they're stalling is because the guys that make you the most money, they find a way to keep them on TV for a week and a half, right? You have a show like Bash in Berlin, and you have Cody Rhodes facing off with his friend. Like, wait a minute, this isn't a long-term thing. This is just a Warriors bout. You know what? I respect you. You respect me. Let's see who's the best man in the ring. That's not a storyline. It's very AEW-ish, right? But I'm like, so what's the reason? Why are they doing this? And I really think that I'm like, bro, they're holding off. Triple H knows better. And I think they got a whole lot of stuff in the bag, but they're waiting for the network transitions is because they want to show their new networks, hey, this is how much money we made before, and now that we make the change, this is the return on your investment now that we're starting off fresh. So that's just, that's my 2 cents.
So quick question with that, leading double question after that. So with you saying that, so everything that we know about SmackDown right now, who does Cody face at Bad Blood to return on investment?
I think that's the trick bag, right? I think it's not about the match. I think it's about the moment, right? So Roman Reigns wasn't advertised for SummerSlam, but yet when we got done with SummerSlam, who was everybody talking about? Roman Reigns, right? I think it's going to be one of those type of situation and scenarios. I don't know who is up next right now as far as, hey, he may not even main event that show. You know what I mean? He may just have like a homecoming situation because it's Atlanta. You know what I mean? He has history in Georgia. That's where he's from. You know, the Jim Crockett connections with his father, the WCW connections with Turner. I don't think necessarily it's going to be about a matchup per se, or he may end up in a situation where he's like in a tag situation. It might be a 6-man or 8-man where he's involved, but it's not necessarily directed around the title. It's because once again, these mid-level pay-per-views, they are stalling for these moments to happen. I mean, we may get a situation where Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes may be back-to-back. I think it's not as predictable. It's because it's not so much a circus. See, a circus is, hey, look, let's get a big poster, let's put the stars on it, and let's advertise. That's the old way of doing things because you want to put on the biggest and the baddest show for the moment. The problem is Monday comes along, Friday comes along, and you got to make it all make sense. And we have all seen that sometimes that it hasn't always made sense. So you find yourself in a situation where you say, okay, Cody, you fought Kevin Owens at Bash at Berlin. What's the next chapter in this particular story? And I think they're stalling. I think something else is going to happen that leads to wherever Cody's supposed to be, and that's going to set the tone for like, okay, cool. Now we're on to the next real chapter of this Cody Rhodes story. And I think they're being coy for a reason. I think they're being mysterious about it for a reason. Like I think they're being very tight-lipped about something, and I think they're trying to be very like catch everybody off guard because it's not as predictable. Because you're right. You're like, wait a minute. There's no clear contender. We've learned from this story before. Triple H, you had an interview where you said long gone are the days where you just have one top person. Is because that's how you lose momentum when you don't have legitimate dance partners. So
that's true. I feel like maybe Cody Rhodes is setting up for a special guest referee. He's been cutting these vignettes with Metro Boomin. We might get Metro Boomin, Drake, Bad Blood. Who knows? Who knows what Triple H got in his back pocket? You know what I mean? But
it is Atlanta. Just saying.
It is Atlanta. We got Hugh in the building. We also got Brennan in the building. They say good evening, fellas. They also like Nitram's hoodie. Nitram, how do you feel about Fox dropping Friday Night SmackDown? And do you think Triple H has something big planned for the last episode on Friday night?
So I don't know about for everybody else, but for me, SmackDown has always been the show that jumps channels growing up for me. It's just kind of always been like that. So I'm kind of used to SmackDown moving channels. Mm-hmm. The way I see it is the final episode, they're going to treat it like when SmackDown does FS1 shows for Fox when they can't use the Fox network, and they put a big cliffhanger to tell you to go back to Fox, but it'll just be them doing a cliffhanger to tell them to go to USA. But ideally, it'll be a show that they kind of prepare for not no one to watch, but for no one to really get affected with it until the very ending. Because that's how they used to do the FS1 shows. That's how I think they'll end up doing all that. And I think it's more of a Roman gets jumped again, and this time we get a Jimmy coming out. So I think that's the big angle to set up the family reunion on the USA.
Oh, that's
oh man, you give me Jimmy, I'm ready. You know, that's my oos. I'm not all about main event Jay. I'm all about Jimmy. That's the guy that I cheer on. But hey, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about maybe Jimmy coming back. He said forget Roman Reigns. He can come back on USA Friday. Let's go ahead and drop Jimmy, come help out. I like that. I like that guess. Man, on Monday, I'm not sure how you guys were feeling, but the reason why I asked about the whole Friday Night Network thing and Friday Night SmackDown is because next week we have Michael Cole going to SmackDown. And this Monday we had a new commentator. Joe Tessitore was doing his thing. A lot of people were kind of sluggish about it. Did you guys notice the absence of Michael Cole on Monday night? And how do you feel about Joe? Chano?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I liked it a lot because one thing about wrestling is sports entertainment, right? So usually the commentators are like over the top, like, "Oh my God, this is happening" for every little thing. It could be a clothesline, like, "Oh, that was a clothesline," and it was just like
like TNA back in 2004.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? With Don Lemon and Black and what was Booker T's name? Jesus Christ.
Off
You know
the top of my head, I can't remember.
I can't remember. It's gonna hit me like mid-show, but like you know what I mean. Like wrestling doesn't need those overshotted moments all the time. So to have Joe, a consummate professional who's been here for calling the biggest moments of all sports across the U.S., calling Raw, it felt calming. Like I felt like I was watching wrestling and just hearing like side by side with it. Like I didn't need additional anything, and I was just being in the moment with the match instead of being taken away from the commentary. And I love Michael Cole. Michael Cole was arguably the greatest commentator of all time. He's followed me from my childhood. Now, as a grown adult with my own child, he's still commentating. He's great, and I love what he does for the industry. But I don't need that from both my commentators, because Wade does it, and Michael Cole. You know, they amp each other up during the match, and it's like it's coming to the point by the time of the finish. It's crazy. But for Joe being the calming presence on Raw, and then Wade is just building up the momentum, is great. I like me personally, as somebody who watches a lot of sports, I really enjoyed it.
How you feeling about Joe Nitram? Were you feeling like the IWC was saying he was dry, he was too quiet? A lot of people felt like Wade was carrying the show. How do you feel about Joe Tessitore in his first night with Monday Night?
One, I love Joe. My father's a big boxing fan, so I'm used to hearing his voice. He's very well known. He's great. I play Fight Night on the PS3. He's actually a commentator on that game. Gives me a lot of compliments. I'm really good at Fight Night.
That's a compliment. That's a good one.
No, but like the thing about it is everyone was like roasting him and all this. And I'm like, y'all, it's literally his first day. And he did nothing wrong. He called the matches the way they were supposed to be called. And he reminds me a lot of I don't know if you guys remember him, but Mario Ranallo.
Of course, come on. Mario Ranallo?
Yeah.
Of course we do.
You know, he had that special presence of being and I hate to say it like this, he made it sound more real than what we were supposed to believe. You know, like Chano was saying, there's commentary that could be over the top. But sitting there and explaining a move just as the move is makes it more sound like a more real aspect. You know, I don't need a dragon flying leg drop from across the ring. Instead, he flew across the ring and hit him with the leg. Like, it makes it almost simplified. And then you have somebody like Wade Barrett to go in there and be like, yeah, Wade's amazing. I don't know. People didn't like Wade either. Wade's amazing. I don't know why people are so upset. But yeah, I mean, it's his first day. And, and if this is the case, y'all going to bully him out the way JBL bullied out Mario. And then he's going to go back to boxing. And we're going to lose another great commentator for nothing. So
I'm not gonna hold you, and they paying him too, so don't do that. You know they're giving him.
Yeah, he's definitely a name brand.
Yeah, definitely name brand. That's a cool shout right there. I didn't know he was the commentator on Fight Night 3. It's actually pretty awesome.
I got the name before anything. It's Shet Lemon and Black Snow. That was Kevin Nash and Booker T and TNA. And they were over the top. Like, it was crazy. Booker T was in the thing, and like Booker T hits the leg drop, boom. Kevin Nash was like, "What is he doing?"
How are you feeling, Dwayne? Were you missing the presence of Michael Cole, or did you like Joe in his first night of Monday Night Raw?
No, I agree with the brothers, because what they're saying is very, very it's very conducive to where the WWE is kind of moving. Not only do we look at wrestling like, you know what, wrestling is cool again, the business model is showing that wrestling is cool again. Joe Tessitore, like I said, is a brand name that many people are familiar with. And yes, he has a different style, but anytime we get something new, wrestling fans are going to, their panties are going to be in a bunch. It's because naturally it's just different. We're used to certain things. When I sit down, I want to hear my commentators with my wrestling, and it's familiar territory. But every time we have a shakeup, but like nobody will ever be as worse as Mike Adamle when he showed up. I knew Mike Adamle from freaking American Gladiators, and then when he showed up on Raw, he didn't know anybody's names, and then he tried to get on commentary, that didn't work, and then he became a general manager, still mispronouncing names. So it was different, but like Chano and Nitram said, like it's the way he called the matches made it easy to digest for a listener. So if you're just watching wrestling, you know what I mean, and like I said, it's not TNA in 2004, 5, 6, and you got like Mike Tenay and Don West, where every little thing was, oh my God, I did all that drama, it's gonna play the W. Like, Don West, God rest your soul, bring it back, buddy. You know what I mean? He called it in a way where it was like, okay, it felt familiar. And like I said, because you have Wade as doing color, your play-by-play guy has to be someone that like, okay, the people that can follow, you know what I mean? So for those who are listening, you want to make sure you follow with the action in the ring. And I think WWE's like, hey, listen, we're probably going to start bringing in new eyes and new things to the product here. So let's make sure, you know, we don't lose them. Like before wrestling got to a point where it was becoming very, very niche, where if you didn't know the codes, if you didn't know the words, people are like, well, I don't watch wrestling anymore because I can't get into it. I don't know what I'm even looking at anymore. I'm not familiar. But if you look at the way WWE is structuring the company now, they're making it a lot softer for for the casual wrestling fan to say, look, I don't have to be a diehard fan, but I want to watch it every week. I'm familiar with it. It's still fun. Now, you know, with hires like Joe Tessitore, that's a familiar voice, and how he calls it, you know what I mean? It's easier to, not easier to digest, but it's easier to follow along. And it's like I say, it's not something you have to readjust to just because they're new. So it's his first day. You know what I mean? He's a lifelong wrestling fan. He's passionate about the sport. He's passionate about what he's doing. So I had no problem. And don't get me wrong. It's not that I didn't miss Michael Cole, because that's a big presence. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to notice that he's not there. But the WWE is in a space where evolution is important. And you ever noticed that, how WWE is so focused on evolution, especially with Triple H? I don't know if anybody caught that or not, but it seems to me that evolution has to be like a priority, which is why so many older talent are like, hey, I'm not being treated with the same level of respect. It's like, well, they're in a space where they're preparing for what's next, not where we come from and where we are now, but where we're trying to go. And I think Joe Tessitore on Raw, give him some time, he'll be fine. But you know, I didn't miss Michael Cole too much. I thought it was good. It's not like we're losing Michael Cole. He's going over to SmackDown. So USA is familiar with him. So, you know, they can make certain requests and certain things. And it might have been one of those TV calls. And like I said, the networks have a lot of say so with what they see, because how much money they're shelling out and the advertisers and stuff like that. So
no, that's 100%. That's 100%.
I'm not gonna lie to you. There's one more for Marcus. There's one more thing, and also since they're going to Netflix and Tessitore is going to be the commentator on there, there's going to bring so many older fans that haven't watched wrestling since the early 2000s, late 90s.
Bingo.
Like, oh, Joe Tessitore, he's doing commentary.
Yep.
You know, I haven't seen wrestling in 15, 20 years. Let me go see what's happening. Let me go see these young bucks, and it might get caught up in it again. So,
yep,
in the long run, if the IWC don't run him off, he could be good for the overall growth of the company.
Yeah.
100%, and like the three of you said, man, the one thing about Joe is that he's a professional, and like Dwayne said, he respects the sport. He's been a fan of it. If he felt like he couldn't do this, he wouldn't have done it, you know. And it's his first night, and I think one thing that he does that's different from any other commentator that we've had is that he calls this like it's an actual sporting event.
Yeah.
And he makes it feel like a sport, even though Triple H has been on record saying, "Oh well, we're not a sport; we're sports entertainment." Mm-hmm. But you bring in this guy who has called nothing but sports, and he made it feel like that. He made every match on Monday Night Raw feel kind of real, in a sense. And then Wade played the part where, let me throw the kayfabe part in here, so the fans, the original fans that know what's going on, you know, we could tune into them still. And I think this pair is a good duo. And I think they're gonna do great on Monday Night Raw, man. I think Joe's a great pickup for WWE, and he's a better pickup than Mr. Kelly when AEW signed him, you know. So
chill.
Oh man, just leave my guy alone. It wasn't a good fit. It wasn't a good fit.
It wasn't a good fit. Oh man, let's move on.
I'm a Ring of Honor guy, so I have a soft spot for Kevin Kelly. So
I feel you. He said I'm biased. Yeah. We'll leave Kevin Kelly alone.
Thank you. So gracious of you, sir. I know it's your show.
No, man, you're all good. I want to talk about Uncle Howdy, guys. And Monday night, you know, last week the four of us discussed when we were on like his debut match how it was. And you know, one thing that I didn't like about him was the Waluigi laugh he was doing. I felt like he was talking too much. But this Monday, he cut a promo. Bo cut a promo as Uncle Howdy. And for some odd reason, it bothered me because I feel like Uncle Howdy shouldn't be cutting promos. Bo Dallas should be cutting promos. And we should only see the presence of Uncle Howdy when Bo is not himself or in the ring wrestling. My question to you, Nitram, should Uncle Howdy be cutting promos or should it be Bo Dallas?
So I would love to say that it should just be Bo, and then with hints of he can always be Uncle Howdy any second, the way that Bray used to do the Fiend stuff. You know, Bray would cut a huge FOMO, and then he would keep on going, and then it'll be 2 seconds of seriousness, and then right back to that silliness of Bray. The problem is you do that and people are saying, well, he's just copy paste repeating what Bray used to do.
Ooh.
I like Uncle Howdy cutting promos because they already established that in the mind of Bo Dallas, they are two separate people. They did the sit down interviews. They did the, you know what I'm saying? Like they already established, like, I talk to this guy regularly. So either way, we're never going to be in the room at the same time because we're two different people who just never meet. And the only time they do meet is in vignettes. I do wish if they were going to do that, it should only be vignettes. And you know, you keep that, like I said, the whole reason the Y6 works is because it has an element of spookiness. They have to find a way to keep that element of spookiness always around, and it's hard to do when you're doing live action stuff, and I get that. But if you're already having a hard time elementing that into the wrestling, when you do promos, it should always be vignettes to keep your spooky element there.
Okay, yeah. I see what you're saying, and I think you and I are kind of on the same page. It's if you're gonna do it, just do it right. And I think, you know, one thing I said was, you know, the vignettes have been money. They've been perfect. They've been beautiful to watch. His debut match was good to watch. There's a little knickknacks that we all picked about it. There were certain things we didn't like, and there was a lot of things that we did like. But this promo, him cutting the promo as Uncle Howdy, just didn't cut it for me. It didn't seem creepy enough, in a sense. Dwayne, how are you feeling about this Uncle Howdy promo? Do you feel like it should be Uncle Howdy cutting these, or should it be Bo Dallas?
Listen, for a couple of haters, man, you guys, we're on the same wavelength. And once I didn't get a chance to say this, I didn't get to say this, but shout out to Brandy Savage. We miss you on the soul, yeah. Shout out to you, Brandy Savage, yeah. So as I get out of my mind, because I got to be careful, because if not, I'll keep going. Let me tell you first and foremost, Uncle Howdy. I got to cut myself off. Uncle Howdy.
It'd be crazy because halfway the show, I'll be like, yo, Macho Man has been here for about 45 minutes. I'm like, where's Dwayne?
Without realizing, I'm like, oh crap, did I just guess I just get going? Yeah. He was talking about that. Like, oh, let me stop. So I gotta, you know. In case you haven't noticed, I do that regularly. Here's a tidbit before I answer the question. If I call Brian H, he does not answer the phone. Every single time for over 13 years, I have left a voice message in Macho Man voice, fussing him out for not answering the phone. So just put it out there. So Uncle Howdy, should he be? Man, I'm kind of with you guys on this one. When you look at the element of spookiness, it's hard to bring that live, right? And it's something Bray Wyatt did very well, and he teased us. And even when Bray Wyatt, when he first came back, I felt like I still wasn't getting it enough from him. And then unfortunately he passed away, and I was like, dang it, now we'll never really know what this was really all about. But then the Y6 came into fruition, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then they're opening, like, here we are to the world. It has such a dramatic impact, and it's like it left us craving that every single time. We always applauded Matt Hardy when he did his Broken Hardy universe, and he would have his cinematic matches, and he would have his final deletions and things like that. It's like, man, and then we watched the WWE try to tap into that with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, and it didn't hit the same. But we're at a space now where it's like, man, you've given us that already. We kind of want to keep that, because when they debuted the way and the fashion they did, it kept us on our toes. Like, I'm watching live television, and I'm like on pins and needles. I'm not moving. I'm looking to the left, to the right. I'm making sure all the lights are on. But that's the feeling you're supposed to evoke. That's something you get when you watch a movie or a show. I got that live. So with a mythical character like Uncle Howdy, I see the dilemma. Is because you're right, Nitram. If he does what Bray Wyatt does, he'll always be compared to what Bray Wyatt did. And that's not what they want to do. But it's like, man, you're right. Maybe you don't need to cut the promo. Maybe you need to pre-record those and to just smile and tilt your head or do whatever. You know, or like I said, I don't like it. It's okay. Like, I got no beef with it, but it's like, oh no, give me the scary stuff. Now I might just be being a selfish fan. Just decided this is just what I want. But I'm kind of with you guys on this one. I like the spooky element of it. I like that edgy surprise factor. Where I was like, ooh, I didn't see that coming on. Wow, that look how they pulled this one off. And you know, it's something that you know, I'm looking forward to the most from them, because that's how they were introduced to us. So yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm okay with it. I'm not against it, but yeah, I think I'm with Nitram and you, Marcus, about trying to keep it creepy, keep it mysterious, keep it fun and vignette. Like AEW does a really good job on it. Like during the pandemic era, they did some of the best video packages, especially when Brody Lee debuted as the chosen one, as Mr. Brody Lee, and even when I forgot when Aleister Black, Malachi Black debuted, like there were certain things I was like, man, they do these really, really well. So if there's anything they do well at AEW, is these video packages are phenomenal. And it's like some people may think it's oversaturated or too much, but I don't, man. I think it makes the show fun. Like to me at this age, if I'm not having fun, I'm not here to critique it. Like I watch football like I'm watching now, and it's making me mad, but that's not what I'm watching wrestling for, right? So keep it oh boy, so keep it fun, give me that creepy spooky, and it's like you're coming up on October. It just seems like the stars are supposed to be aligned, but yeah, so I'm okay with it, but I do prefer him to have a more mysterious element to him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like you said, it's supposed to draw us in, right? And the vignettes with the Wyatt Six were drawing everybody in. It was like
bingo. Yeah.
Everybody was talking. Oh man, this is mysterious. I want to know the story of this person and this person and this person. How did everybody become? And then get the matches and take the mask off, and it's just like, oh man, something is
back to being wrestlers.
Yeah, you're back to being wrestlers, and it's like you said, man. If it's gonna be creepy, you got to make it creepy. Make me look left, make me look right. Let me turn the light on. I remember as a kid, I would always change the channel when the See No Evil commercial came on when they were promoting it for King. Oh, that's too scary. Let me change this real quick. You know,
right?
Then you get to these guys in the ring, and like I said, man, when Uncle Howdy was in that ring, and the dancing part was great, the match was great, everything about it was cool. But then he started talking, and it was just like, you don't need to talk, man. Be mysterious. I felt like, we talked about it. Chad Gable fighting back that shouldn't have happened. It should have been kind of like a squash match. You're trying to build a monster. So yeah, it's a little lackluster right now. Hopefully it gets better. Chana, how are you feeling about Uncle Howdy? You think he should be cutting promos, or should this be Bo Dallas?
Should be Bo. Only because, listen, I love what each and every single one of the Wyatt Six bring to this. I feel personally bad for Joe Gacy because he has to walk with a limp crunched over to the side every single time he walks down to the ring. I feel bad for him. I was like, damn, I really hope in his contract they pay for scoliosis, because that's exactly what they're giving my man's right now. It's crazy. But other than that, I don't think any of them should talk as their alter egos. You know what I mean? They got something good going on. I mean, the only one thing critique I have with the Wyatt Six is that every time they do something, they cut their pose in the middle of the ring until camera fades to black, and I guess they just magically disappear. You know what I mean? I feel like something like that should happen for like big moments. It shouldn't happen on every single given Monday because something small happened. Like, I like the tag aspect of it because they make these men like, okay, they can participate in matches. It's not a magical match. It's not the finger poke of doom. You know what I mean? These guys are actually pulling out. These guys are actually pulling out wrestling moves. You know what I mean? They hitting these guys with things. But at the same time, they definitely shouldn't talk unless they're. Ooh, that was crazy. They definitely shouldn't talk unless they're their actual counterparts. You know what I mean? That's honestly all there is to it. It's gonna be a beautiful storyline. I'm sure everybody in the back is 100% willing to make this work for Bray. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a person in there like, nah, I want to get over in this storyline when it comes to the Wyatt Six. It's not about that. And if they are like that in the back, you're just an asshole. You know what I mean? The story's bigger than everybody involved. So I think everybody in the back, including all the dance partners, will try their best to make this work. Especially Joe Gacy, because he's gonna have a limp and a bad back before this is all over. I promise you. Next time Joe Gacy comes out, watch how he walks. I'm concerned for the man. And also, if anybody says Mercy the Buzzard is not terrifying, they're lying. That man,
that's a lie.
That man scares me. Could you, Dwayne? So what would you do in the middle of the night? You wake up, you see Mercy the Buzzard just chilling on top of your dresser.
I'll show you right now. Like,
Mercy is terrifying. That mask is crazy. All the
that joint is crazy. That joint is ill. Oh my goodness.
It's absolutely crazy, man. I don't even know how Dexter Loomis has that in his house. On his dresser.
Yeah, like you imagine carrying that in your bag. Like you get out the airport, you go to the locker, and you open that up, and that thing's staring at you, just like.
It probably talks to him how the mask does. You know what I mean?
Hey, look, I wouldn't put it
Wormy.
past.
No,
I wouldn't put it past it. I wouldn't put it past it.
Just steal the bag.
Just be like, you're just opening the bag. Looking like, oh, what the?
Looks like we're all in agreement, man. Bo Dallas should probably just be cutting the promos and leave Uncle Howdy for the creepy stuff and the stuff that actually means something. And like Chana said, not doing it just because it's a Monday night and Chad Gable is yelling at somebody again. Just make it mean something. We'll see. Dwayne, I don't know about you, but everybody here at Four Sides of the Ring, we're a big fan of a particular wrestler, and we wish they would do more with her. We wish she would be on to bigger and better things. But it seems like for some odd reason she doesn't get any love in the WWE. She hasn't been getting any love in the WWE. She was a queen one time. She was a queen one time, and that was cool. She did Backlash. She shows her love for her country. She shows her love for her fans. We're talking about Zelina Vega. Mm-hmm. And we want to know why not Zelina. People compare her to Liv. They're about the same size, maybe the same-ish movesets. But Liv is in a premier spot on Raw. Why can't Zelina be a champion? You have girls like Julia Hart at AEW who successfully won a TBS championship and had a successful reign. Too bad she got hurt and had to drop the title. It's understandable. It's wrestling. Things happen. But why not Zelina?
Well, there's multiple reasons as to why and how you can answer this particular question. Now, me, I do things the Wrestling Wrealm style. I'll take a very educated and very informative approach in answering this question. When you look at Zelina Vega, her body work, don't get me wrong, this is not the first time I've heard this conversation, but I think she has the same problem that Liv had prior to her run. Now, this is the strong. Don't get me wrong, Liv has had a solid run and Riot Squad and stuff she's done before, but this is going to be her most memorable, hey, welcome to the show feud. And I've said this 1,000 times before, that sometimes it just comes down to meaningful stories and dance partners, right? I don't think anybody has cared about Liv Morgan as much as they care now because of how she has been incorporated into this story. Like, we've seen Liv 1,000 times, but I've heard so many men go, wait a minute now, I'm paying attention to Liv differently. And it's because of how she is being projected on screen based off this character that she's playing and her involvement in a bigger story. And I think these are important elements for anybody to become a superstar. And sometimes the lack thereof can kind of halt your success or your it can halt where you feel like you should be at this point in time. And I think that's probably what it is with her. Like, I've always thought she was a better heel than she is a face. But it's like, outside of being in contention or getting beat up or getting jumped, there's no significant story that makes you go, wait a minute. Now we're invested in Zelina, and now she has to be involved every week. Like, Liv Morgan wasn't involved in stuff every week. She was here and there and contending, but now because she's in the story, she can run around the Judgment Day, and her part is just as important just because of her presence. That's when you know you've made a legitimate impact, because now you don't have to do much. You can just show up for a scene and still make an impact. And I think that's where any superstar in the business has to get to in order for them to be successful without having to win a major championship. Fans are getting kind of fed up with Jey Uso. No disrespect, Marcus. I know you're a Jimmy guy. But everybody's like, the fans are going crazy for him every week. Why is he not world champion? Like, world champion can't always be the definition of success. And I understand that he's at the height of his popularity, but there is something in the world of professional wrestling called a people's champion. It's the person that everybody's just like, he may not be the top guy, or he may not be world champion, but he's still a top guy. When he comes out, it's the same reaction every single time. The first people's champion that I was exposed to before The Rock was Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond Dallas Page, no matter where he was on the card in WCW, he was considered the people's champion in WCW because he was their guy. And when you come into with Jey Uso, he's that guy. It didn't matter whether he has a title or not. When he comes out there, he's going to get the same reaction. He's going to get the same kind of response. And it's like, that's when you know you're a superstar, is because you don't have to be the champion or in contention for you to have a main event spot on the show. In Zelina's case, I don't think she's really had that defining moment for her career yet, right? And it comes down, once again, I say to people, it's dance partners. You got to have that one person that says, okay, because of you, we'll always be associated. Macho Man and Hulk Hogan will always be associated with each other, right? Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan will always be associated with each other. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes will always be associated with each other. Sting and Hollywood Hogan will always be associated with each other. Jeff Jarrett, AJ Styles, always be associated with each other. Kurt Angle, AJ Styles. There's these feuds that you have to have that make people go, okay, you're here now and you can stay here. And I just feel like she just has not had that moment or that story that people actually care about, where it's like making the company money. Like the Judgment Day is a big deal because of, you got Rhea's story, you got Damien's story, you got Finn's story, you got there's all these elements, and then you got your players around it, like your Carlitos, your JDs. They're just there to play their parts, but it's not just one thing, but their part is one chunk of the story. Somebody else's part is another chunk of the story, and vice versa, all the way around. But this is what's carrying your show, right? Once it was no bloodline, the Judgment Day kind of, the evolution of what the Judgment Day was, and they followed the Dusty Rhodes school of thought. Dusty Rhodes used to always say, once you get on one cloud and you struck lightning in the bottle, jump off that cloud immediately, because it's like at that point, at the height of it, it's not going to get any better than this. So might as well. That's going the downward slope and figure it out now. So it's like it can't. Judgment Day can still be the Judgment Day, and it still could be dominant like the Bloodline was, but they'll always be compared to that. And you can't. After a while, you're gonna say, now what? You've become so dominant, you can't move on because you hadn't raised up another group to knock them off. So you got to start to add these different elements into these stories. And I feel like they did that wonderfully with Liv Morgan, and they have not done that with Zelina Vega.
Fellas. I mean,
if I can add real quick, I think one of the other issues, because I agree with everything you said, Dwayne, I really do. I think one of the other issues that Zelina has, and it's going to be the same issue that some future NXT people have, is that they're tied to this role where we look at them as managers. And to me, Zelina, her whole career, besides the small run when she came back to win Queen of the Ring, she has always been more of a manager than an actual solo wrestler. So I look at her as a manager. She's a manager for LWO. She was a manager for Andrade. Like I said, she had that small stint where she came in, she won Queen of the Ring. That didn't last. But until she breaks out of that thing, then it's like she's always going to be looked at as someone to throw in there, get a win, but nothing ever big. It's the same thing Carmella had when she was with Big Cass and Enzo, which is why they separated her. Yep. And it's the same thing Thea Hall will have if she continues to be with Chase U.
Ooh.
We'll always look at her as, well, she's just like Dwayne said, she's there to play her role. She's a manager who can do a match, and I think that's where Zelina still lies, is that she's not a solo superstar the way Liv is. Liv has no one tied to her except Dom, but that came later on, so it's like, in my mind, what holds her back is the fact that we still see her as a manager. I know people to this day who will say, put her back with Andrade, which is like the opposite direction of what we need to do. Right. So that's how I look why Zelina's being held back.
How are you feeling about this, Chana?
I mean, I feel like Zelina's gonna suffer the same thing that Liv did when Liv first won the Women's Championship. She had the David versus Goliath story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was put in a position where she wasn't gonna hold the title for long, and we knew that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it didn't necessarily do anything for her in the process except cut her momentum. And Liv as the babyface is great. You know what I mean? The fans generally love her. She's great with the kids. She'll spend time after her match at house show signing everything for everybody. But honestly, at the end of the day, I think it's easier to break out and be a heel while making a name for yourself. Yeah. It's harder to do that as a face because half they're small girls, you know what I mean? They're 5'2", and most of the world champions they're like 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". Like, look, Liv beat Ronda Rousey off of Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She beat off of Money in the Bank. Then she beat Shayna Baszler. Then she beat Ronda off of technicality because she tapped out first. You know what I mean? Then she lost. And then, she beat Becky Lynch, which is great because she's not big height-wise, you know what I mean? Big personality. And they were able to make that work. But now you're back in your territory again with Rhea. And I'm assuming we're getting this third match at Bad Blood. And it's very hard for it to go. Rhea's going to have the same problem that she's going to have for the rest of her career as whenever she's world champion. There's nobody credible enough to face her except the big guns. Yeah. So Zelina being a small girl as well, don't be wrong. Zelina can go in the ring. We know she can go. She's extremely talented. But WWE has built this program where David versus Goliath is very real. Yeah. Size makes a difference. And you're gonna have to punch up your weight class, which doesn't happen a lot. No. And like Martin said, Nitram said, you know what I mean? Thea Hall's another small girl. Roxanne Perez, the prodigy, a great wrestler, small, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be very interesting to see how they rotate and manage these girls as they come onto the main roster, because I believe all of them are gonna eventually have the same issue. Because you got the Bianca Belairs, the Jade Cargills,
Charlotte
you know what I
Flairs.
mean? Charlotte Flairs.
Come on now. These
these
Amazons.
these Amazonian women, you know what I mean? That they're like, yeah, they're the world women's champion because look at them, statuesque. You know what I mean? And then you have these small girls who great wrestlers,
like cruiserweights.
You know what I mean? Exactly, cruiserweights, and it's very hard because it's like every time you get a story, it's the Rey Mysterio story every single time.
Yeah, and,
So
and
I think
that's probably going to get played out after a while, don't you think?
I mean, it is. I mean, look at the future women coming up on NXT. They're all small. They're all relatively small.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like Shawn has a factory in the performance center of 5'8", 5'9" women out the woodworks. I mean, he has 3 because Last Legend, she's one. Once she gets to the main roster, she's solidified just based on her size. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
and
honestly,
and I think that's the important part that you say right there, Chano. Is like, if because they don't have a whole lot of big ones, when they do show up, like the tall statuesque women, they immediately get pushed to the forefront because it's like, oh wow, look at her, she's special. We got to see what she has, you know.
And it makes the title defenses kind of lackluster because, like, damn, am I really gonna watch a story that's not gonna have the ending that I want?
Sure.
And it's like I wish all the success for these women in this division, because wrestling has taken such a big step for these women in the last 10, 15 years to where it was. You know what I mean? They're no longer eye candy. They're the forefronts of the division. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes they've been having better matches than these men in these big highlight matches. The Royal Rumble, Elimination Chambers, Money in the Banks, War Games. They outperforming the men 1,000% of the time. So it's a big evolution for them, but I still feel like they're falling into the stereotype of size, the Vince McMahon model.
Yep.
The size matters, and these small women are gonna have to work harder, and it sucks. It generally does. So 2025. Cheers to Zelina turning on Rey Mysterio for a push.
Oh jeez.
Hey, that's, in my opinion, man, that's the only way Zelina's gonna get the eye turned on her. She's gotta turn on the LWO. It's just gotta happen.
Become partners with Dom.
The only way.
Oh no.
She doesn't need to become a love interest. Just be like, you know what? Your father is a deadbeat. And that'll get us a bird.
Yeah.
That'll go
that might
crazy.
be a thing. That might be, listen.
Just jump on the wagon.
Heat.
Let's talk. We got wrestling in the middle in the chat. They say, "What's up, fellas?" They're chilling with their taquitos and listening to us. Brandy Savage said, "Chef Realness is cooking" on his Zelina Vega comments.
Brandy Savage,
and Jordan said Swerve is going to murder Hangman. We're going to get into that all out when we talk about it. But real quick, let's just take a small break and we'll be right back.
Dive into a world where every pinfall, every suplex, and every promo is celebrated in fashion. From the legendary 3-count trivia to the iconic bad guy wrestling, we've got the latest gear to elevate your wrestling wardrobe. Show off your passion for the squared circle. It's not just clothing, it's a lifestyle. Come shop with us and unleash your inner champion at foursidesofthering.com. That's foursidesofthering.com.
Shouts out to our guy, Brandy Savage, holding it down with all our merch and doing everything that we've been wearing and we love to see. Foursidesofthering.com. Cop all our merch. We got some new 3-count trivia. The second logo's up there, and he's working on some brand new stuff for us as well. Chano, earlier in the show, man, you brought up Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, and they just became the second time tag team champions. One thing I was confused about Monday night was a little weird. It's because I thought maybe when you lose the titles as ex-champions, you automatically get a rematch clause. I guess that doesn't work for the tag team champions. So they were in a number 1 contenders match that they won anyway. So why not just give them a rematch clause? But hey, I get it. Sense. Yeah. That was a little weird.
Isn't it why we got Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes? He literally said, I didn't get my rematch clause when I lost my Universal title.
He's like, that doesn't happen no more. He's like, that doesn't happen no more. We haven't done that in forever. Listen, Kevin Owens is the only man that actually watches wrestling. He knows the tropes.
Clearly.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I mean, if you listen to our show and Dwayne, I'm a big fan of Jade. I'm not a big fan how she's been presented lately in the WWE.
Really?
And yeah, I just think it's lackluster. It wasn't what the words of Triple H said, like, oh, she wasn't shown nothing, but when she comes out, we promise you it's gonna be way better. And I feel like it's just about the same. She's being.
And you think she's ready for the big lights?
No, she's not. She's not. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I really feel like this tag team needs to split up, and Bianca needs to be main roster, main title ready. You know what I mean? She needs to be chasing something bigger than this tag team championship. And I think for Jade, if you want to build her and show her dominance, I think this new speed tournament that they're about to announce, or that they did announce, and that they're about to do for the women, it's a great opportunity for Jade. 3-minute matches, 5-minute matches, for her to show her how dominant she is in the ring and how strong she is. But in these tag team matches, we're getting a lot of she's getting carried. She's getting carried by Bianca. We don't truly get to see her talents and maybe her skills that they've said that they've been showing her. Are they the two right women to be tag team champions and showcasing other women tag teams?
I mean, well, that was a real lengthy question. You took like 2 detours there. I'm like, where? I'm like, Mark,
it's about to get deep.
I'm like, where are we going, my boy? But ultimately, yes, because the one, I can't tell you the last time the tag team championships for the men were presented on a pay-per-view. I can't tell you. Maybe Fastlane, like last year. You know what I mean? I can't.
Right.
Well, WrestleMania, but outside of WrestleMania, you know what I mean? So we know Triple H's format, right? 5-6 matches, mostly all title matches. So what this does is you have Jade and Bianca, arguably the biggest stars in the division at the moment. If you have them as tag team champions, now you have to put 2 women on the PLE with them. So I think it's a great opportunity to showcase these women. The issue is I don't want to continuously keep showcasing the same women over and over again. And I would like to say the exception for Alba and Isla Dawn, mostly because it's like they came as NXT tag champions. They lost the titles to Shayna and Ronda, and then they were just put on the back shelf on SmackDown until they got drafted to Raw and they started doing their thing. So I'm glad they get in their burn and get in their spotlight. But ultimately, you don't really have enough tag teams in the women's division to keep showcasing the rest of these girls. Because next has to be the next Damage Control, right? Kairi Sane is on a roll right now. She finally opened up her show. She's doing her thing. And we're seeing great matches and great movesets from her, which is amazing. So we have to see that ball rolling. We have to see if the CBD line, the Performance Enhancement Center Trio girls, whatever the hell they're called.
There's a hateration. I was waiting.
It sounds like a CBD. Doesn't it sound like a CBD brand?
Terrible.
Try this CBD brand. It'll put you to sleep. What's it called again, that brand?
Hater alert. Hater alert. Hater alert.
Pure Fusion Collective. Who...
Exactly. A new CBD oil will put you to bed or relax you after a long day at work. But like realistically, like those girls have not been tag team champions yet, and I feel like they've been in every single tag team championship defense for every single tag team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that these women have not held the straps is criminal, and I would like to see them on a big platform. I'm not a big Zoe Starks person. I'm not a believer, but I think Shayna's a dog. I think Shayna is absolutely a dog, and she needs whatever push or whatever goal they're willing to give her. So I think it is the right call for them to be at the forefront, because let's face it, Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn, when they were women's tag champs, they weren't even on the pre-show for these PLEs. They're defending on Raw, which is cool, but now that you're on the PLEs, you got more eyes, more matches, and guess what? More time for your actual matches to cook and get something going and develop new fans. I just hope. Honestly, this is an issue for WWE in the whole. Their tag division sucks. The best tag champions they have at the moment is Fraxium. And honestly, they might be the best tag team in the E. I'm not going to hold you. I am a Nathan Frazier fan.
I like Nathan Frazier.
And obviously,
I don't like him
I'm
in
an
Fraxium.
Fan.
Yeah,
I love him in Fraxium. I love Axiom because I love the Power Rangers, and it reminds me of a Power Ranger. You know what I mean?
There you go.
That's my guy. That's my guy. Like I know whenever he leaves Axiom leaves NXT and he leaves the building, he turns off his morphin. He goes back as being a regular person. You know what I mean? So I think it's the right call. Ultimately, I hate the 5-match format and that this takes a match, because we know the only way these women are losing the titles is either in a triple threat tag team match where they don't get pinned or they implode. It's very predictable.
Bingo. Yeah.
and they're not
He's not
turning on each other no time soon. And if they do, that's wild, because Triple H does not do quick turns.
No.
If there's anything that's told me, bro, we're just getting Austin Theory telling Grayson Waller that he's a dick.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah,
And this is a
absolutely right.
year, and this is a year down the line.
Mhm.
He's like, you know what? You've been an asshole. He's like, you know, mate, I'm just ribbing you. I'm sorry. So it sucks.
How you feeling, Nitram? You think Jade and Bianca should be at the forefront of this women's tag division?
I do. You know, the good thing about the Powerpuff Girls is that they simply
Hey, are these nicknames? I'm sorry. The Powerpuff Girls? Time out.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
But the good thing about them is that they're so realistically on paper hard to beat. Like
Yes.
these are two
Bingo.
Amazonian women, you know, and you know how much I love Jade. I've loved Jade since her debut on AEW. I love her now. She has a man who makes her happy and makes me sad. But
It sounds like it.
Sounds like it, right?
I do think having Jade in the tag division and let her, you know, freshen up her skill, let her keep sharpening her blades in the tag division is the way to go. So you put her in the ring with a very lackluster tag division, which is fine. She's still champion. She's still presented lovely.
Looks
It keeps
dominant.
Bianca have something to do, you know, and yeah. So I mean, I think they're the right choice because it's so believable. If they hold the belts for 2 years, if they pull Roman Reigns and hold the belts for 4 years, I understand because who's bigger than the Powerpuff Girls? You know what I mean? Like it just fits.
You gotta listen. The only issue with it, there's not enough tag teams. They're gonna have to start
Yeah.
making French tag
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the Power Buff Girls, Mr. Realness?
It's
That's a
freaking
crazy
genius.
name.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get myself together.
Listen, they can do it. They can do it with Trinity.
They could. They probably could think about it. Just come on, Powerpuff Girls gear, some type of something. This is the part where it's difficult for me to have to like pull the layers back when it comes to the wrestling business, right? It's because Chano and Nitram, you guys made some very great points, and they're all true. And the other thing is like you got to remember, this is a business, right? Why do we push superstars? It's because they're superstars. They're there to draw money. They're there for a number of different reasons. I know Nitram, you went into detail about the importance of a Damian Priest. You know what I mean? As a Puerto Rican winning the World Heavyweight Championship, right? That stuff really, really matters. And it's like when it comes to the women's division, there's a ton of women superstars, but it's like you got to be able to find spaces for them to contribute to the business part of it. The Powerpuff Girls, which is straight wild. First and foremost, it's like when you look at them, all you talk about is just they look like action figures, right? They look like $1 million. They look like superstars. And you got to think about what's going on right now. What have we been talking about the entire show? We are in transition. We are changing. We're moving from network to network. You remember the women's tag division, they merged their NXT tag titles into the women's tag titles is because they can show up on any show. They're already advertised for NXT on CW, right? The superstars got to make superstar rounds. So it's like, hey, if you take a Bianca Belair and Jay, they can be in any space that they could potentially, they can be at a WNBA championship game, NBA's coming up, football, like they're starlets, right? So they have a crossover appeal, right? Jade doesn't have to rush because if you look at what Jade looks like right now on paper, she's dominant. She has to win. She has to win right now. She's not ready for that. So you have to hide that without people having to pay attention to say, wait a minute, she looks bigger than her. Why are they a team? Why are they not facing off at WrestleMania? It's like, wait a minute, she's not ready for that. But we don't want you guys to know that. So we'll put them in a space where the women's you're right, the women's tag division is being highlighted in a better space than the men's tag division right now. But it's because of the superstars. People are coming to pay to see Jade. Girls, men, and women alike are coming to see Jade, and they're coming to see Bianca because of representation matters. People are not saying, "Oh, I'm coming to see maybe one of our favorites." My favorite tag team right now is the Good Brothers. But I understand that right now, today's current WWE audience is not all the way familiar with the Good Brothers. Their best years of their heyday is kind of behind them, right? They're like veteran tag team status now. I still want them to be tag champs, but I know they're not. The network's not going to say, okay, who's the tag champs? Now we got to have a Sharma commercial come on after them. Who are these guys again? But they look at Bianca, they look at Jay like, oh, wait a minute now. We got freaking L'Oreal hair shampoo just called us and they said, who are those two women right there with their beautiful hair? We want to have our shampoo commercial come on after that.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part where it's like you hate to pull back these layers, but it makes a difference. They're in that spot for a reason, is because they're drawing money. And yes, they gave Isla Dawn and Alba Fyre their time because they knew, like, look, you guys are gonna have from here to here. It's because at this point you guys got to drop them because once again we're transitioning from network to network, and they're the women's tag champions. They can show up on any show, and when they show up, they're going to make an impact just because of their presence alone. Marcus, I'm shocked at you that you said what you said about Jade. It's like now, and I know Nitram loves her, but you're like, wait a minute, you think she should? I understand why you want her to look the way she does, but you and I both know she's not ready for that.
She's not, but I feel like, and we had this conversation in an earlier episode. I truly feel like Tony Khan did a way better job at presenting Jade Cargill than what we're getting presented right now from the WWE.
Now let me ask you a question. That may be true, right? But I feel like Jade has a lot more years ahead of her than she has behind her. Did it make anybody else know who Jade Cargill was outside of our wrestling community more because she was booked that way than what WWE is doing right now?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, yes and no. I feel like when she had and I'm going to call it a Goldberg gimmick at AEW, because that's in a sense what it was. I felt like a lot of people tuned in to see this. Oh, let me see Jade. Like, let me see who is Jade going to crush tonight? Who is she squashing tonight? And I think that's why a lot of people tuned into Jade, and I think that's how people got more familiar with Jade. And then, she went to the WWE, and I'm not saying what she's doing in the WWE is terrible, because I think it's awesome that she's teamed up with Bianca, and she's doing great things. She's a 2-time tag team champion. She's holding her gold. But I would like to see the singles wrestler. And you're right, she's not ready. And I think we all know that. And I think maybe Triple H was like, well, I thought she would have been ready, but she's not. So let me go ahead and put her with one of my best.
I get that vibe too, because they kind of said certain things. And you're like, you remember Marcus, the press conference, and they were like, well, when's Jade going to debut? She had such a crazy debut, and you guys said she's going to be, like you said, and then Triple H was like, Jade's going to debut when Jade's ready to debut. And I was like, okay, that maybe, you know what I mean? Listen, it's not the first time. Remember, it happened to Big Show. Remember when Big Show Big Show was a main eventer in WCW. He main evented all types of pay-per-views. He drew big numbers, but then he got to the WWF. Undertaker was like, what do you do? Like, you don't know anything. And they paired him with, they were the tag champions at one point. They put Giant Paul White with Undertaker so he could learn. Because they was like, bro, I don't care if you've been world champion in WCW, and he's been in majority of WCW's heydays, top storylines since 1996. And he got to the WWE in 1999 or whatever year it was. And they literally said, you know nothing. And it's like, you know what I mean? And I'm getting that vibe from Jade, right? Where it's like, okay.
I feel like it would have been a perfect situation. And now that we talked about all the women and everything, it kind of, now that I think about it, but at the time I thought, oh, North American Women's Championship, put that on Jade Cargill.
I see that too.
Put that on Jade Cargill. But then we talked about the women, and Chano made a great point. It's just like, man, all the women right now, dude, below 5'5". You know what I mean? So if she was in that spot, then you kind of have a copy paste repeat with what you got with Alba Fyre going on right now. Then you got to find the woman to beat Jade Cargill.
Too dominant,
right? Too dominant. So I love Jade. I think she's great. She's amazing. I want to see more, and because I expected more from the comments that were said about her.
Fair enough. That makes sense, though. Yeah.
We'll see.
And real quick, how else is Zelina Vega going to get a push if you want to sit there and split Bianca Belair and send her back to the main event scene? How's Zelina ever going to get a shot if you keep sending the Amazons back to the singles picture? Sheesh,
right.
Marcus.
That's what Marcus is saying. She's not.
She's not. She's not.
There it is. There's a hateration. I'm feeling it now.
Oh man, hey, there's two people in the WWE, man. I feel like no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, they start to get the push. We start to get behind them. Nitram doesn't get behind one of them, but Bronson Reed is one of those guys. He gets pushed, and out of nowhere, he just has bad luck. Was supposed to be part of Australia. The man had a baby. Congratulations. Now he's getting another push to do something big. Man gets COVID. No luck. Another person that gets no love, man, is our guy, another New York Rican, as Chano would say, the final testament they were in a huge storyline, and because of some
boy.
allegations that we don't got to speak upon the allegations.
Sure.
But this story with the Final Testament and the New Day looks like the story is going to be dropped. What's next? What's next for both tag teams? What do you see here, Nitram?
I want to say I think they dropped the ball on how to continue a story without doing it, because they could have easily did, and I hate to say this, but the killing angle. You know, TNA's famous for the killing angle. NXT lately has been famous for the killing angle. You know, have Xavier Woods call the Dawn from NXT, have the Dawn on TV for a week or so, being like, the job is done. And that's all you really need, you know, because then you can continue the whole we'll get over it.
Genius, Nitram.
Yeah, and we could have got over it. And then all of a sudden you can still continue. This is Xavier Woods killed somebody. That's going heel in my eyes. That's the whole point of the whole story.
That's a
you know,
tease.
I think they missed an opportunity here.
That's
all I have to say about it.
You know, I didn't even think about it. Didn't even think about maybe Xavier Woods going full heel and having the Dawn take out a certain somebody. Dwayne, what do you think? How do you feel they could have continued the storyline without, you know, with all the allegations that were said and just bypass all that?
Man, I had an idea, but Nate Ram's idea was so freaking good. I'm like, dude, that just would have made more sense, because what they would have done is, and I don't mean to play off your idea, but I have to, but like, that could buy you time, because you could quietly do that. Like, think about it. You know that there's a third and there's a fourth wall in TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like something like that could have happened. Just pop up. Look at Xavier Woods, it's done. He's like this, and then that's it. And Kofi's like, "What's that about?" Nothing, man. And then move on. And then you don't have to really address it until you can figure out what it is you need to do. But the audience is going to go, "Oh, wait a minute now. I've seen this before." And at least it would have been a nice, like, fun, tongue-in-cheek way of to kind of like, ooh, it's almost like how you write somebody off TV when somebody usually dies or gets in a car accident or something, and it's like, okay, their contract was up and not renewing them for season 4, 5, and 6, so they killed them off in season 3. So it's like, you know, you can still salvage the feud, because the feud was still there before he was involved. You know what I mean? I think you just have to pivot. I've always been a fan of Authors of Pain. I've always been a fan of Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross's speed in the WWE ring has not matched his intensity as far as his promo and how he approaches his character and his delivery. I like the fact that they have not given up on them, because I like them a lot. I really do. But I also see why certain things just don't stick. And I like the fact that they're trying to creatively find ways to say, look, this doesn't have to main event WrestleMania, man. Let's start where they are and make this work. And I don't know if I think they should go a little more old school. Like, I don't know what the storyline is about. Let me just say that. I don't know if the storyline is more about Kofi and Xavier Woods' relationship, or is it more about Karrion Kross's impact in, hey, look, I might lose all my matches, but I cause destruction wherever I go. You know, Karrion Kross, like I said, he has that start, stop, push thing, right? And I remember one of the promos I saw was he explained why he lost so much. And I'm like, dang it, Triple H made it make sense. He was like, look, yeah, I may have lost against Shinsuke, but I lost him to lose his honor. I may have lost against Rey Mysterio, but I caused him to hit his own son. You know what I mean? I may have lost against Drew McIntyre, but I took his piece away. I sent him over the edge. So it's like, wait a minute, this guy's caught. But then you didn't hear from him, for another 2-3 weeks. And now he's like, okay, cool. Now he has his group, his faction, and they're trying to figure it out. And I'm like, man, listen, I think if you just keep that approach and find ways to say, okay, cool. Before this guy was involved in it, you really can drag and drop. It doesn't have to be him. It really could be a cast of reoccurring characters where Kofi, where eventually Woods goes, I'm tired of you trying to replace E and add, like, what's wrong with us? You know what I mean? And Kofi being the vet, like, nah, bro, I've been in this situation before. We're outnumbered. There's no way in the world. It's not just me and you anymore. You know what I mean? And Woods may say, well, you know what? Maybe there need to be me and you. Because we don't know if this is leading to a heel turn. We don't know if this is leading to the triumphant return of the New Day, because New Day's been down for a while. They might get back into title contention, because I'm gonna tell you right now, when New Day had the championships, they were heavily featured. They were superstars. Like it wasn't too many times where the Usos or New Day did have the tag titles. They weren't featured on the pay-per-view. They weren't doing pre-shows and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? So it's hard to say where they're trying to go with all of this, but man, I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in.
One thing I think that they were doing so well in this storyline too was showing different aspects of Kofi, and Xavier. Every week it was different. I've noticed one time when the story was going on, I was just like, Xavier or Kofi's not wearing his New Day gear anymore. He's just going out in shorts, wearing his sneakers. He doesn't look like a member of the New Day, and Xavier was still going out dressed as a member of the New Day.
And he was looking at him like,
what are you wearing? And then they swapped it, and they put Xavier when they dressed up as the Rangers a few weeks ago. Xavier was the Black Ranger, and Kofi was the Green White Ranger, if you will. And everyone's like, oh, Xavier's going to change. He's wearing black. And then this past week, Kofi had the Majin necklace on, and if anybody's anybody, and you watch Dragon Ball Z, you know that the Majin's evil. They're bad. Mm-hmm. So they were doing really great aspects. And then, like you said, man, Karrion Kross is just everything he's been a part of has been fantastic. He puts 110% in everything he does, and it's great. Him, his wife, and anybody they put around him, and it's just my man just gets no love. And I feel like every time something
matches in the ring,
he can't. He can't. Chana, how are you feeling about this? What do you think is next for the Final Testament?
First they got to get rid of one of their managers. They have two, so either his wife gotta go, or the old man gotta go.
Who are you getting rid of? I gotta hear this because you got a legend and you got a lady. So which one are you gonna pick? I know this is the haters ball. I gotta hear this one. Go ahead, Chan.
I'm getting rid of the old man 10 out of 10 times.
Oh, Ellering, a legend, the Legion of Doom manager, Road Warriors.
Listen, I'm happy for him, but he should still be managing the Road Warriors. Rest in peace.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? There's no point for two managers, and you're not going to tell this man to send his wife home. You know what I mean? That's just crazy. And like, I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to hold you. And that old man not doing nothing for nobody. He's just out there
with his rolled up piece of paper.
Like these kids these days, like bro, just like go somewhere. Every time he rolls up, I'm like, damn. I'm like, I see two liabilities right here. They get jumped. They can't do nothing. At least just gets in the ring a little bit. She try to choke somebody out. You know what I mean? But like, bro, you already qualified for Social Security, brother. Just stay home.
Wow.
But honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. New Day, they can listen. The Triple H era, hit me back in 6 months so we see where they are in this Xavier Woods heel turn. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get emotionally invested in right now and just be blue balled for 4.5, 5 months. I refuse. So I'm just gonna take it week by week and see what it is. As for listen, I have a personal mantra. I do not criticize Puerto Ricans from New York, especially. I don't criticize New Yorkers. I don't criticize New York Puerto Ricans. So Karrion Kross, brother, keep thriving. But you're hurting me over here, brother. There's only so far I can defend you. You know what I mean? You got to string together some wins. You got to jump somebody. Listen, brother. Next time Jalen Brunson pop up, just Final Testament. Just put my man through a table safely because I need him for the season. But you know what I mean? Like, get some real heat. I feel like people see Karrion Kross like
real heat.
I feel like people see Karrion Kross like, man, just another heel that don't win matches. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of heels that don't win matches, and it's like Shinsuke. Shinsuke's a heel right now that does not win matches. If I see Shinsuke fighting a face, it does. If I see Shinsuke fighting a face, I'm like, oh, this man is gonna lose this match, ain't he? And that's why I was so happy about Bronson Reed, like, you know, just killing dudes in the ring.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, just putting people in the hospital forever, like involuntary vacations. He said, punch your PTO days, baby, because I'm sending you whether you like it or not. And it was dope. Until I saw the big boy over here, but he came back after he got two tsunami through a top of a car, which is crazy. They should have gave my man's. Yeah, he should have took 1 week off because not only he came back, he won. You know what I mean? Like, damn, that's crazy. I'm like, Bronson, you slipping, big boy. Like, you got to put this man in the dirt, 6 feet under. So listen, I'm very excited about Bronson Reed. New Day, I refuse to be blue balled. Karrion Kross, you need some real heat. Just real heat.
That's a good point, though.
Real authentic heat that you can make somebody hate you.
Yeah, that's true.
Hang out with Dom. Like, just be seen with Dom eating chicken tenders. You know what I mean? Like,
just combine the Final Judgment Day.
Oh my
bro.
gosh, what?
Bro,
The
just,
Ministry
bro,
of
just,
Darkness.
bro, just pull up and down black, yo. I hate your deadbeat father too. Something, you know what I mean? Bro, just be like, you know what? I hate Rhea and Damian, Brody. Like, I hate them for you. Like, you need some type of heat because
Guaranteed booze.
guaranteed
Mhm.
dudes. Because I'm not gonna hold you. If you can't make kids hate you, you're a lost cause.
Yeah, oh,
That's
ouch.
facts.
You you guys.
Bro,
just-
it's bro, and I listen, and that's not even a criticization. It's like, bro, like kids are the easy, bro. I hated JBL growing up. I hated
Oh my
Edge
god, I
growing
hated
up.
his guts. I hated JBL.
Bro, there was so many. Bro, I hated Randy growing up. I hated so many wrestlers growing up. I was like, this man is a legit evil man, and he needs to be put away by John Cena, the superhero. But it's like
Had to
my
be
son,
Cena.
bro. I'm not gonna hold you. My son watches wrestling when I have it on when he's still up, and he's like, "Is that a good guy? Is that a bad guy?"
Oh
Then,
no, that's
then he's
not a
looking
good
at
sign.
Karrion Cross. Is that a bad guy? I was like, baby, I honestly, I don't really know. I don't really, I can't really answer that question. I'm like,
Get back
he's
to
from
me
New
in
York.
6 months.
I'm like, he's like us. He's from New York. He's Puerto Rican, baby. But I can't tell you. He's like, oh, okay. Then they see Jey Uso. He be like, good guy. I'm like, yeah, he's a good
Yeah.
guy, baby.
You know.
So listen, if kids don't care, I'm sorry, Chief. The rest of them,
Oof.
WWE, this might not be for you. Honestly, it might be AEW where you can show real graps and they'll appreciate you for that. Here, we cater to 6-year-olds. I'm not gonna hold you. You can't sell merch and you can't get kids. Where's the lie? If you can't sell merch and you can't get kids to boo you, you might not make it.
That's the
Right.
truth hurts. He's
The
not
truth
lying.
hurts. The truth hurts.
So much he can't get hate you.
Brendan, the guy likes the Final Judgment Day name. He said it's fire.
Listen, they're gonna have 3 managers because let's face it, Carlito's a manager too at this point.
Don't hate on Carlito.
Listen,
I
he's
love
Puerto
Carlito.
Rican, but
He
he's
is
not
my
from New.
absolute favorite.
Listen, he hasn't spit an apple in 20 years. I want to see
He's
the
getting too
apple
old
out.
for that.
Listen, I don't care. Bro, get one apple spit out, please.
Bro,
He can't
COVID
get like
was a
every time he
thing.
tries
I
to
can't
bite into
do
it, it goes flying.
I swear to God, they blue balling us. Like, this is not the slow turn I need from Triple H. You know what I mean, bro? Just chew the apple and spit it. Why am I getting blue balls on an apple spit? This is ridiculous. Just
They
spit
keep
out the
teasing it
apple.
too, though. You ever notice that?
Mhm.
Yeah, I swear
He
to
gets
God.
up there,
Watch
he's
it,
about to do it, and then something happens, and I'm like, well, okay, all right.
bro.
take
Watch it
some
be
big
stupid. Watch it be
bites.
the JD. Watch it be the JD. Somebody does it, they duck and it hits JD. I promise you.
Hey, that's
Oh,
facts. Oh man, let's
You
let's
guys
switch
are
up a
fun.
topic. Let's switch up. But yeah, I was really telling myself. I was telling the guys. I was like, you think Brandon, Hugh, and Brian were like, hey, Dwayne, when you get on, these guys, their shenanigans are wild. Their takes are wild. I hope they kind of prepared you for us in a sense.
Listen, I'm fitting right in. This is my kind of crowd. You guys aren't bad at all.
Listen, I'm not gonna hold you. We may have wild takes, but are we wrong? We're
No,
not
like I said, that's why I'm sitting
wrong.
like cringing. I'm like, ooh, he's got facts to back it up. What can you say to the brother? I'm like, ooh, when he said if you can't sell merchandise or make kids hate you, that's pro wrestling 101 since 19, whenever it became like commercial.
Like, Jesus
Oof.
Christ,
That
bro, I'm
hurt.
trying, bro. Like, he started dropping independent promo videos. I was sharing them on the podcast page for him. I was like, I
Me
see
too,
you,
bro.
brother,
Me too.
out here grinding from New York. But it's bad time when you start cutting your own promo videos on an iPhone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm
social
like,
media.
oh my God.
The
Like,
production crew has
look.
no time for you.
Yo, no time for you. You gotta film your own video. It's like, I was like, Jesus Christ, Carrion. Like, I'm trying my hardest rooting for you, brother.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm with you. I
Oh,
felt the same
man.
way about Jinder Mahal. I was like, God, just do something to make people not like you for real this time. Not just
He
make
should have had
people
it.
scream at you.
He should have had it the easiest.
Hey, you a big stinky head, and I hate you. Like, that's not gonna work. Insult somebody's mama or something.
Yo, facts. Just like Mariah May, smack her mother for no reason, just because she sound like it.
You gotta do some. Yeah, you gotta do some stuff like Nick Wayne did to Oh Boy. It's like, hey, who cares that your dad is dead? Get over it.
Yo, but think about it, it's a simple way to like make people hate you. And honestly, I didn't even hate Christian. I love him, bro. He's
Oh
my
my
No,
dad.
thanks.
Christian
Thanks.
is terrible. You're like, why would you say that?
Oh man, let's talk. We talked about the Rascals earlier too, man. Do you guys feel like Shawn Michaels may book the Rascals as the next NXT Tag Team Champions? Dwayne?
It's easy to, because it goes back to what Chano was saying, that there's a lack of tag teams. Now, here's what I'm confused about. Either they're like waiting for something to happen, or they're like loading up on tag teams, because there's all these rumors of tag. There was even rumors of the Motor City Machine Guns potentially signing with WWE or something like that. I'm like, why do you keep signing tag teams or trying to lock tag teams in, and then there's no real tag team showcase? In my mind, in this Triple H area where we overthink things, I'm assuming there's a long-term plan to it, right? But if you look at the TNA and NXT partnership, you can tell that WWE has their eye on certain teams, like on certain talent. Like, we like them. They fit in with what we do over here, and then we can send them back over to where you guys are at. And they'll benefit is because they bring in another audience with them as well. Because I'll admit I paid much more attention to TNA now than I ever have in a long time, right? So It's like, well, shoot, the Rascals kind of got a lot of momentum. They're involved in a legitimate story, right? And there's always the Wesley factor. So it's like, hey, you got Fraxium, and it's like you got a team like the Rascals that kind of wrestle a similar style that fits, and I think that the NXT audience will respond to, and vice versa. The TNA audience would respond to these guys. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know, man. The way that Zach Wentz came off kind of strong at the PLE, I was like, wait a minute, I was not expecting that. That would have never happened in the McMahon era. But I'm like, wait a minute, if this is a thing. One, I'm assuming like, hey, maybe these guys are kind of getting rubs because they're like, hey, listen, when your contract's up, hey, we can continue this. We got something going. But then, like I said, they're contracted talent to TNA wrestling. It's like, well, why wouldn't he put them on? Like, I never liked Chase U. And to me, there's not a lot of legitimate tag teams in NXT to make me go, oh, these guys are up next. Not like it was with the Revival and but like NXT is not known for really cranking out tag teams. You know what I mean? So it's a void that I feel like the Rascals could probably fill in NXT. So I think Shawn Michaels, he likes every tag team that reminds him of the Rockers. So hey, might be a little biased.
I think it goes back to one of those things like you said with Jade, right? She's a presence. She's going to sell money, and I think that's what Triple H is kind of do, and he's trying to do that with the tag teams. It's like, okay, what tag teams can I bring? Because my tag team division is kind of lackluster. I got the Usos split up. The New Day don't know what's going on. How can I switch it up? Well, let me go pick up some veterans that people know, people love. Motor City Machine Guns, rumored the Lucha Brothers. All these.
Oh, yeah, the Lucha Brothers. I forgot about my boys.
So I think that's what he's trying to do. Is like, maybe if I can bring these guys in, tag team division will spice right back up. But in my opinion, my opinion is if your tag team division is not already spiced up, what makes you think adding these two tag teams is going to do it? If they can't keep up with these two set tag teams, these tag teams are just going to make all your guys look, in a sense, green and not ready. Wow. So we could see, the Usos versus the Lucha Brothers with Cook, you know what I mean? Most, same thing for MCMG. It's just like lackluster. I think the Rascals could be NXT Tag Team Champions if Wentz didn't win that X Division title. Should have never took it off Speedball Mike Bailey, but I don't write the books.
Hot take.
Is it a hot take? I'm a big Speedball fan.
I love Speedball.
But maybe I wouldn't be mad if the Rascals won. Because besides Chase U, like you said, and Fraxium, the other tag teams on NXT are kind of not there. Like OTM is okay, but they're getting there. You don't like
fresh face tag teams,
right? That's what they're new. They're newer, so they're not. Yeah. They're still green. They're still in that developmental stage. So why not?
You got Stacks and who's the other guy? Lorenzo.
Yeah, the family.
I didn't even know where that cousin came from, honestly. I turned on NXT for the first time in a month. I seen an old boy. I was like, who is this man? I was like, listen, I know the Staten Island family is deep, but Jesus Christ. Like,
Nitram, how you feeling about the Rascals? You think Shawn Michaels should book them as NXT Tag Team Champions?
Yeah, for the simple reason is you already know I'm always fantasy booking when I get like real passionate about something. The Rascals winning and having a TNA act as your NXT champions works so well for the reasons that you guys just said. The tag division needs to step up, right? Have them beat, I hate to say it, but have them beat most of your tag teams. Have them beat Out the Mud. Have them beat Chase U. Have them beat the family of Stacks and Lorenzo, not the Don, because that's the Don. Have them beat who's left? The Good Brothers. I think they're still
No,
NXT
not the
at
Good
the
Brothers. I
moment.
knew you were going to
Hold
say
on,
that. I
hold
said,
on.
don't say the Good Brothers. Don't say the
I
Good
get into
Brothers.
this. Had them barely beat Fraxium, but beat them to the point where they get cocky and they're like, "There's nobody on your show who can beat us because TNA superior." And you have Ava go, "You're right," which is why we signed somebody from your show, and a debut happens where you bring out the Motor City Machine Guns, who are known to be a TNA act.
Okay.
And now they're fighting for WWE, and they bring the titles home back to NXT. And to me, that's the only way you can actually debut that. Because if not, they should go to the main roster because they're that big of a name. So make them the saviors. And I think the only way to do that is to put the belts on a TNA act.
I didn't know you were quite the booker, Nitram.
Okay,
I'm
so
not gonna
you
hold
say the Rascals go over next Tuesday?
I think the Rascals win the belts.
I'm not gonna hold you. Usually Martin Nitram is cooking with cold water, but he might be cooking with gas today, guys. I'm not.
Wait a minute. I can't. I picked a great day to come on.
Listen, whatever you did beforehand, brother, it's working.
Yeah, you got Hugh in the chat. Hugh agrees with you, man.
That joke was
he's
fire.
gonna
I was
win.
like,
It's a statement win.
Nah, but honestly, I don't think the only reason I don't think the Rascals are going to go over is for the simple fact is, for some reason, tag team people don't lose their straps in their first title defense. It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened in a while. Like, let's say the Chase U implosion would have happened next week on NXT. You know what I mean? The first episode of the CW, I'd be like, oh my god, yeah, I see it. I see the vision.
Yeah,
like I can see everything that Ram said. I can see happening. I just don't see. One, I don't see West not getting involved in the match and causing the Rascals to win. One. Two, honestly, because West has no friends in NXT and he turned on his only friends in the Rascals. You know what I mean? Like an idiot. My man's was about to retire. They saved his love for wrestling and he turned on them on some bozo-ish, but it's cool. Happy for you, Wes. So I don't see it happening I just don't see it happening for the Rascals this week. It'll be dope though. It'll be cool to see everything that you said happen. They take it back to TNA. They defend NXT Gold on TNA. That'll be a cool concept if somebody does that. You know what I mean? I would love to see Moose take on Oba and take the North American Championship for a little while. You know what I mean? That would be cool as hell.
don't get me started on Moose.
Wait, you
Bro,
got Moose winning? Hold up.
Yeah, bro. Moose is a massive man.
I like Moose. I like Moose coming over, but he can't win.
Nah. Listen, somebody has to win. Somebody has to win NXT Gold. Right? I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is, but somebody has to win that gold. But at the same time, I just don't think it's the Rascals, especially with Fraxium re-winning the belt. Because like once again, we're on a slow turn where Frazier and Axiom.
I think they went over again because the better match on paper is Fraxium versus the Rascals instead of Chase U versus the Rascals.
I'm not gonna hold you, Andre.
But at the
Chase
same time,
made me a believer.
At the same time, though, Andre Chase could have made you a believer. But at the same time, if Chase U would have put over the Rascals and then Rich Holland would have turned and said, "You guys lost the gold to guys that are not even in our company," probably would have made more sense.
Nah, listen, I feel the story works either way. If it happens, I would be happy.
Yeah,
1,000%. But
Hugh said Moose sucks, so nobody likes Moose.
Moose posted all those social media pictures of him and all the WWE guys before they were in WWE, like Damian Priest and Cody, and
he wants in so bad.
He wants another shot. He doesn't want to do it in NXT. He wants to go to the main roster. Like, Moose, settle down, buddy.
Another TNA person that gave it out an open challenge on social media as well is Jordan Grace. Put up her TNA championship, her knockout championship, to somebody on NXT. Whoever wants to step up. Nitram, do you think Jordan Grace should lose the TNA championship come next week?
Of course not. She lost the NXT championship match. You don't bring the other champion in to lose not only a big match of your own, but then her big match. I don't know. I'm real big on this. I'm gonna treat it like it was AEW. I don't like that this is supposed to be a big show, and they have another company title as the main headline for that show. It's the same thing as AEW bringing in this CMML championship for Willow. It's the same thing as bringing like Ring of Honor. This is supposed to be a big show, and I get it. Jordan Grace is a star, and she's your future. I get that, because let's be honest, she's just like Joe Hendry. She's gonna stay once the opportunity comes. So it's one of those things where I get it, but no, you're not gonna have her go there, and then who's she gonna wrestle? Unless you're making a debut of like a Stephanie Vacure, and you do something incredible. This is just a throwaway match to show people why they should like Jordan Grace, and they could have did that any other time.
I do not agree with you.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
I don't agree with you. Only for the simple fact is this is a 2-week rollout of CW when they're on the road, right? So basically, you kind of treat this like a 2-week, like a 2-week thing, and you bring out anybody who will get you views and eyes on the product, even if it's a TNA girl. I'm not gonna act like the CML title brings more Mexican eyes to AEW. It might. I don't see it, but listen, it might. I think it helps CMLL more. But listen, this is also a TNA WWE partnership. They agreed to help each other. We don't know what the exact terms are, but I'm pretty sure this is one of it. Jordan Grace is one of the more marketable stars on that roster, and I'm not gonna hold you. AJ Francis is another dog on TNA that really can't show up in NXT and overshadow their stars. You know what I mean? Mustafa Ali's not there no more. Speedball might. I'm not gonna hold you.
Not nada, Chano. Not nada.
I'm not gonna hold you. I'm an AJ Francis fan now, bro. He's a dog. He's been killing it on the TNA circuit. He has the best choke slam in the business right now. But other than that, man, it's like there's a lot of former WWE people on TNA, so it's kind of hard to be like, yeah, we can use them. And I don't think Speedball's NXT ready. You know what I mean? I think his style is too raw for the NXT product. I feel like a lot of the guys there wouldn't be able to hang with him. Unless you give me Speedball and Trick Williams and Trick goes over.
Jesus.
Listen, I only said that to get a reaction out of one person.
How you feeling about Jordan Grace, Dwayne? You feel like she should lose this TNA championship come next week and to somebody on the NXT roster, and who should she lose it to?
Yeah, I don't think she should lose because it's kind of I can't think of anything off the top of my head that would make it make sense. So like the matchup is one thing. I personally want to see her match up with Natalya. Like to me, like I think she should only be matching up with like big name veterans where it's like she's a main eventer whether she's on TV or not. Like I said, she's the kind of person I feel like you insert into any title picture, any match where it doesn't you don't need to make it make sense. She's she's a tenured veteran. She's one of the best to ever lace up a pair of boots in the industry, not only in the women's division, but it's men as well. So, she has that presence regardless. Like, I think but to me, it doesn't make sense for her to lose it. You know what I mean? To me, it's if for her to lose on NXT, it's got to be storyline driven. And I'm like, well, what storyline could you put together on NXT television that will carry over to TNA? Because if you're defending the TNA Knockouts Championship, that means it's got to go back home. But that feud has got to follow. So, when the first young lady showed up on NXT, from NXT on TNA, it fell flat because the TNA audience wasn't familiar with her. They were like on TV, you watch it, you were like, it was like, oh, okay. A handful of diehards knew who she was, but their audience was just like, and it's the commentators, we hear it at home. They tell you, oh, this is so and so from NXT. She's showing up, but you got to remember at a live show, they're like, I've had a few rounds of beverages. I don't even know who this is. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't see a scenario where her losing benefits TNA unless someone like a Natalya wins it and then like shows up on TNA television, and then maybe Natalya like has a feud with Jordan Grace, and then that leads to Jordan Grace winning it back at some type of at whatever TNA's next major pay-per-view is, because Jordan Grace has the same problem that Jade Cargill has right now, where it's like, okay, cool, she's so dominant, there's no matchups left for her to have. Because it's like, well, there's no new women's talent that are already in a main event ready space for TNA. So it's like, of course, she's going to be feuding with, a lot of the women on NXT or even. But like I said, when she showed up to the Women's Rumble. That was the main roster. It wasn't the NXT Women's Royal Rumble. And she was booked very, very well. And she was up there with the top dogs. So it's like, you can't even put her in with a whole bunch of NXT girls because it doesn't make sense for her to lose in those spaces. Like you said, we just had a whole conversation about the stature and the size of some of these new and up and coming women's talent, but it's like you can't tell that David and Goliath story every single time when it comes to the women. Like, you got to be creative enough, and I don't see anything where it makes sense for her to lose on on the NXT PLE.
it might be a surprise return as well. You know what I mean? I don't know how
That
many
too.
months
That's
out.
also possible.
I don't know how
That's
many
something
months out Nikita is out or Cora. You know
that's
what I mean?
that's
Yeah.
something I thought about too when I typed this question. I was like, who could take this title away from her? And it's like this match tells me that it might be a squash match for Jordan, so she could look dominant and maybe grab a mic and say that she wants the NXT Women's Champion again, Roxanne Perez, and wants to prove herself. And you can have a comeback. Cora Jade might come out and say, "Well, why don't you fight me?" You know what I mean? I thought about Miss Parker as well, but she seems like she's onto bigger and better things in the storyline that she's in right now. And then like Ram said, and like Brandon the guy said it as well on comments, man. Stephanie Valkyr is a perfect opponent for Jordan Grace, somebody that could actually step up to the plate and say, "Well, how about me? I'm fresh, I'm new. You don't know me, I don't know you. Let's rock." And that's a good way to introduce Stephanie to TNA fans, to the WWE fans, but also you won't have to rush this whole new version of what we got, this week of Julia showing up. You don't have to rush Julia Stephanie. You could they need to be separated for a little bit of time before they have that face to face. You know what I mean? It has to mean something. You can't do an AEW thing and rush it and then forget about one of the women's wrestlers in the long run. So it's I don't know, man. I don't think she will lose come next Tuesday, but I think she will win. She will probably cut a promo and say, I could beat them all. I want Roxanne again, and maybe a Cora Jade, maybe a Nikita Lyons, like you said, Chano. But I think Stephanie Valkyr might be the one to pop, and all Stephanie has to do is come out like Julia said and say, "You meet the CW."
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
right there. And you got people tuning in. One thing I want to talk about, I'm not sure if you guys seen WWE had to push back Bad Blood and Hour, so now the pay-per-view is going to be at 6:00, I believe, because they don't want to interfere with the UFC pay-per-view that's going to be happening as well.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it's going to be a problem for TKO? Do you think they should prioritize one or the other when it comes to UFC and WWE and the PLE pay-per-views? Right?
You should prioritize whoever is paying the most bills. Let's be honest. The one of them is filling out stadiums, and I think the other one fills out a small Vegas arena. Not trying to even bash on it. One of them selling a lot of merch. One of them has a whole website. One of them has a huge fan base. One is just simply bigger than the other. And I'm not trying to crap on UFC, but when it comes down to money, please the people who are actually spending the money.
I'm not gonna hold you. Low key, the UFC is worth more too. You know what I mean? I don't know how, but they are.
You think so?
No, they were before the merger. UFC was like 2-3 billion ahead of the E. It was
really wow.
It was very humbling. I have a UFC fan at my job, and he heard the merger, and he's like, you little guys needed the UFC's help. I was like, I'm not getting into this with you, brother. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my day. You're not ruining this for me. But on the flip side, honestly, bro, I'm not gonna hold you. They should both be big boys. They should be like, listen, we're looking at this date, this date, this date, this date, this date. We're monthly. You're monthly also. What days work with you? Shit, maybe we can do the same city. Maybe you do Saturday, we do Sunday. You do Sunday, we do Saturday. Shit, you want to do this on a Friday night, Thursday night, Wednesday night? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? They're gonna have to figure it out where people can spend time with both. As an adult, I hate early pay-per-views. Mostly because I got my son with me. You know what I mean? There's some things wrestling wise I don't want my son to be exposed to yet. Like the violence. I don't let my son watch nothing violent. From the moment my son wakes up in the morning, when he goes to school, comes back, it's nothing but cartoons and kid show for my son because I do not want to expose him to anything that he should not be watching.
There you go. You're a good dad.
So sometimes when I'm watching wrestling, I'm making sure that it's an appropriate match. If it's a death match, I'm not watching it. If the white six is out, I watch the clip on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? So now it's at 6 p.m. I'm probably gonna have to like watch it on my phone or my laptop in the cut. I'm not a fan of it. I like my late pay-per-views because it's me time. My wife comes out, she's like, "Oh, this is a good match," and she's like, "This is a terrible match." You know what I mean? So it's like I like my late pay-per-views, and I'm not a real big UFC fan, even though I should be because who doesn't love actual combat sports? You know what I mean? Them boys be getting down. But honestly, it's just not one of my fortes. And if it was, could you imagine start watching a PLE from 6:00 to go to the UFC at 10:00 to go to 1:00 in the morning? But that's crazy. I want to be in bed by 10:45. I want to be tucked in with my pillow at 10:45, and I can't do
How you
that.
feeling, Dwayne? How you feeling, Dwayne? Do you think TKO should prioritize one or the other?
Man, look, I don't know about prioritize. You know what I mean? I get it. You know what I mean? Because you wanna make sure that like their team now, TKO Sports. So it's like, hey, look, man, listen, I know we make more money than you, but we know you're more popular than us. So don't big boy us. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a sensitivity that's there now because it's like, look, man, like because the McMahon era, it would have been a competition. Nope, we're gonna go in the same time and crush them. And you know, just out of spite, especially knowing that UFC is probably worth more than WWE, especially since Endeavor, bought UFC years ago. So it's like I get it because of the business part. I don't like it. I'm with you, Chad. Like don't give me wrestling. Only time I'm okay with wrestling early on 6 o'clock like that, if it's like it's got don't give no. I don't agree with it. Like either make it the regular time or give it to me early in the afternoon, like old school, like Saturday morning wrestling or something like that. You know what I mean?
Saturday morning wrestling would be fire, bro. I'm not gonna hold you just like laid up.
It's something about it.
Break up. Bro, it'd be incredible. I hate it. I'm not gonna hold you. When they were in AEW was in Wembley and then WWE was in Germany the next week, I hated my life for 2 Saturdays in a row.
Wow.
Like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Because now my wife want to go to Costco or BJ's. I'm like, yo, babe,
oh, that's
back.
True.
I gotta be back by 12:45. She was like, why? I was like, you know what? I'm getting into this argument, love. We can be in BJ's and Walmart or Costco for as long as you want. You win. Gonna come back. Oh my god, what did I miss? And then Nitram is over here doing backflips in the group chat. That was the most amazing match ever. I'm like, oh, I hate myself. Looking at my groceries, like you probably.
Oh, I know it all too well, brother. I can relate big time. I'll be pissed. I'll be like, yo, come on.
That's 100% facts. Let's move on to our move the needle. Let's get a word from our partners for this.
What's up, my fellow bad guys? Just when you thought we were down bad, Brandy's here to pick us right back up. Thanks to our partnership with SeatGeek, we got good seats and great prices. New users can score a fantastic $20 off their final ticket purchase by using the exclusive promo code 4SIDESOTR at checkout for any event. That's 4SIDESOTR. Tell them the bad guy sent you.
Move the needle presented by SeatGeek. Fellas, today, does Julia move the needle? She debuted, she came out, she showed her face, she challenged Roxanne. Nitram, I know you're a fan. Does Julia move the needle for you?
100%. I've been a huge fan of Julia for a long time. I remember when the podcast actually first started up, I was trying to push Julia onto all the guys when you guys are making picks. I was like, is no one picking out Julia? Hey guys, Julia might be getting signed. Anyone gonna pick Julia? Julia is a special talent. And special talent always translates regardless of what company you're in. And I always stand 10 toes on that. So it didn't matter to me where she would land. She's in WWE. That's fine. There's so much good stuff going on, especially in NXT, where the women's division is probably the best in the game right now. It makes me want to watch NXT even more. And I was already watching NXT. So, like, you took the best women's division and added one of the best women wrestlers to it. And now, honestly, I want NXT to be, I'm not going to lie, 75% women's programming. It's just what I want from them because it's that good. And because she's on it, that's what I want. Like, I want to see her cut a promo. I want to see her knee more people to the face. I want to see her be champion. She moves the needle for me, 100%.
Mr. Realness, does Julia move the needle for you?
Absolutely. She's a bad mother. Shut your mouth. Like, it's hard to do it in this day and age, right? Where, you know what I mean? Where you have these, I call them global superstars, come in and make these immediate impacts. This, it gives me old school NXT vibes. You know, when we would, Triple H was signing all the top independent global superstars, and they were all making these big time debuts. I remember when Oscar debuted and Drew McIntyre came back and they teased EC3 and they teased Bobby Roode. I was like, man, this kind of one of those moments. And she fits right into the mold, and just want to be one of the baddest wrestlers on the planet. Just walks right into NXT. It's like, oh boy. I think she provides like a veteran presence amongst so much new and developing talent. is because I know in today's NXT it's probably hard because there's a major focus on, you know, these athletes transitioning into WWE superstars, right? And but to have someone like her come in, it's like, okay, cool. This is the most balanced that I've seen. Not that I've seen it, but this is the most balanced that, you know, we're looking at a women's division, especially taking place in NXT. It's like, oh yeah, this is a big deal. And yeah, I think she definitely moves the needle, and it's harder to do now than it was before. So I think that makes a big difference, and I think that the timing of it all makes a difference because, like I said, we're in transition. They're about to change things, so it's like they debuted her at a certain time for a certain reason. So I definitely think she moves the needle.
Chano Hayes, Julia, does she move the needle?
Nah, bro, she's dope as hell. It was kind of like she wasn't used to the crowd noise and people like cheering for her crazy when she came out. It was like, oh wow, this kind of surreal. All right, let me get back in that mode. And you know, she handled her business. And if there's anybody should be going over Roxanne, it should definitely be Julia because that's an instant push, instant thing to the top. Like, yeah, I belong. You know what I mean? Like this is my kingdom. I'll just let you guys play in the playground for a little bit, but this is really who I am. This is really my company now. But no, I'm not gonna hold you. NXT has a great women's division, so there's gonna be a lot of showcasing going around for a really long time. My only thing is, I want to see how they do Julius, Stephanie, the other girl, and the two other women that are coming over to NXT. You know what I mean? NXT is about to get real crowded, and it's about to be the women's division is about to be real cream to the crop. And if Motor City Machine Guns come too, those guys operate as single stars as well. You know what I mean?
That too. Yeah.
So there's a lot of talent about to be infused on NXT. So the cream better rise quickly because the train will leave you behind. Yeah, Julia's great, man. She's gonna be a star. My only concern is I can't wait to see her in this match with Roxanne. Not Roxanne, her second match. Whatever her match is aside from Roxanne, because I know Roxanne's been working a little stiffer matches to get ready for Julia. But like, what about the rest of the women? Will she be able to pull her punches back where it doesn't look crazy? Because that's the one thing about them Stardom girls is when they start punching and they start jabbing, it looks too. When they go with WWE, they pull back way too much where it doesn't look like a jab. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It looks kind of fugazi. And I know she's not gonna have the issue with Roxanne because Roxanne she's one of the real sickos. She'll be like, "Yo, don't hold it, don't hold it back. You hit me. We're gonna make this work."
100%.
It's just one of those things, man.
I agree with all of you guys, man. Julia definitely moves the needle. Like Nick Ram said, I think me and Nick Ram have been watching her since Stardom. He put me on. He was like, dude, she's the next best thing. You got to watch her. And I've been watching her ever since. And like Nick Ram said, wherever she landed, we knew it was going to be great because she is great. She is one of those talents that, she's going to give you 110%. She's not going to fail. I know everybody's talking about, oh, she missed a knee or whatever. It's like, come on, everybody. Kayfabe, we already know what this is supposed to be. Like, it's not going to connect every time. Just be happy that she's there. She showed her face, and hopefully Shawn Michaels is going to do great things with her. And I know he is. I really do. Friday night, we got a double header, triple header if you're a football fan, but double header, if you're a big wrestling fan. SmackDown and Collision will both be at 8:00 at night. Which one will you be tuning into, Mr. Realness?
Come on, you know the answer to this. I'm watching SmackDown. It's not. I can catch the replay. I told you it's wrestling over everything. I don't know if that's the thing. Has anybody ever put that on a T-shirt yet? We can rock paper scissors to see who makes it to the store first. Your store or my store? We'll see who gets the wrestling over everything. I'm watching SmackDown.
Brandy, I know you're listening right now. Drop the mocks.
Oh, that's right. He could cook while we on the show. Brandy said was about to come up with a design before me. Yeah.
Maybe it could be a collaboration. Everybody wins.
Bro, listen, no trademark. Wrestling over everything. I'm watching SmackDown. I got a better chance of enjoying a Friday night. Everything else I can just catch clips of. The Ravens are struggling right now, so I have no reason to watch wrestling on freaking Friday. And AEW, I don't usually get through AEW shows. I just kind of it's on, and then I catch the stuff that I like. I'm like, oh yeah, that was cool. And then it's like, all right, okay, I'm disinterested again. And I can go back and watch that. I can catch the clips, but WWE SmackDown, I'm at least intrigued enough to say like, what's going on? So I'm definitely watching SmackDown on Friday.
Different, which one are you tuning into?
I'm not gonna lie, I have my son, so most likely I'll be watching Cars 1, 2, and 3.
Well, there you go.
Fire.
If Brandy is watching one in the other room and I sneak away from my son, I could peek in his room, he'll probably be watching SmackDown. So I'll probably be watching SmackDown piece by piece with Cars.
China Hayes.
That's a great collab. Cars and WWE.
I'm watching the back of my eyelids because I got to work Saturday morning.
Oh, well.
I watch both in bits and pieces when I'm at work Saturday. But if I had to choose honestly between the two, I'm not gonna lie, Collision hasn't been great in a really long time, which is kind of sad because I loved Collision way more than I did Dynamite. I avoided Dynamite. And when Collision first dropped, I loved Collision. The Collision Cowboys, Bullet Club Gold.
Yeah, those are my boys. You kidding me?
Dogs. I loved Collision, but now I kind of just don't like Collision. It's like Collision doesn't have an identity no more, so I just rather not deal with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I kind of just like only really watch Dynamite. So I guess I'll watch SmackDown. I guess there's some storylines they'll have me watching. I guess I got to watch Cody Rhodes' next opponent, Solo Sikoa, for Bad Blood. You know what I mean? This Cody Reign is hard for me. It's really hard for me to watch. Like I
gotta be patient, man.
Listen, I had hope. I had hope for them. I was like, you know what? This is gonna be great. It's not gonna be great. The change of pace, let's see what happens. But Cody has been great.
It was always going to be rough because, like, first of all, how do you follow up Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns after 2 years? Like, what difference? Who comes after that? So I understand where you're coming from.
You know what you need? You needed your heels to start smacking babies in the streets to build up some credibility,
like Gene Snitsky.
Exactly. I don't want to see the power of friendship. Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes at Bad Blood again. It's like you only won because I let you, but I love you. Like, bro, shut up.
Brother fights.
I want to hear shenanigans.
I agree with Dwayne. I could probably catch Collision, the highlights. It's a go home show anyway. They try to jam pack it with a lot of stuff going on, but it's a go home show. So I'm tuning into SmackDown because I
wait, All Out Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah, All Out Saturday. Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, All Out Saturday.
I get to watch Sunday Night Football unbothered and uninterrupted.
But I'm gonna be tuning into SmackDown. Let's move into our margarita match predictions. Let's step into the Koto Bar.
Yeah, the bubbles threw me off.
Margarita match predictions. Dwayne, what we like to do here, man, is we like to judge pay-per-views by how many margaritas we think matches need. So it's our break time.
That's not nice.
So right now, All Out's got 8 matches on the card. We got the AEW World Tag Team Championship, the Young Bucks versus Blackpool Combat Club. Will this be a margarita match?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like them. I don't like the moderately aged Bucks because they're liars. They're not young no more. And
you guys are these nicknames. The moderately aged Bucks. The Power Buff Girls.
Oh, like I'm not gonna hold you. The moderately aged Bucks, I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna hold you. Their gimmick was growing on me. I'm just not a big fan. And honestly, you guys know I don't care for the Bluey Combat Club. Just not I just don't care for them. I don't care for none of them except Pac. Pac's a dog. Pac is an absolute dog.
Sounds like all right. We're at one margarita. The next match on this card is Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander in a Chicago street fight.
Double
this
shot.
Be a double margarita.
Double shot.
Nah,
I need the most expensive liquor in that tequila, man.
Oh my gosh.
Nah. I might watch this match just because of Stokely. I love Stokely, man.
Willow's too nice to be in a street fight.
Nah, she is.
Willow is too nice to be in a street fight, which tells me she might lose this match.
I'm not gonna hold you. Do you see Stokely's tweets? Yo, he's great. Yo, Stokely might be top 3 manager right now, bro. I'm not gonna hold
you. He really is though. Stokely's definitely
great.
That dude.
Yo, he tweeted. He was like, yeah, I'm trying to get you. He texted Christina. He's like, I'm trying to get your music played throughout the whole entire fight. She was like, yo, what's wrong with you? I just love Stokes, man. But honestly, yeah, this is a margarita. Hopefully, this is after the moderately aged Bucks match, so I still have the margarita mix in the canister. This way I can just pour my next cup.
Next match on the card is the Battle for New York. We have the guy from Long Island, MJF, versus the dude from Buffalo, Daniel Garcia. Will this be a margarita match?
Nah, I'll drink a
Nah.
bottle of water here. Start sober.
What?
Stop sobering.
Ooh, Dwayne, this is a margarita match for you right here.
It's not. Maybe I'm just not interested in it. I don't know. Like I get it, but I feel like MJF oversells sometimes. Like
That's
every
what
time
makes
he's
it
in
so
the ring with
good.
somebody, he's trying to make a star. Like, bro, I get it, but you're not supposed to make it look like it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like MJF. He oversells his ass off. It's hilarious. I learned to not take his selling seriously because if I do, I'm just gonna have a bad time every time.
Okay, well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm taking him too
Yeah.
seriously when he oversells. I should just take it as, grain of salt.
Think of it like Shawn
Next.
Michaels' level of selling, honestly.
Like Shawn Michaels versus Hogan at SummerSlam 2005.
Yeah, he's just throwing
Hogan got
himself.
mad. Hogan got mad and threw his bandana at Shawn Michaels because he flipped out the ring and said, Hogan said, and threw his bandana at. I'm sorry, that overseller. Yeah, that level.
Next match on the card is the AEW International Championship. Will Ospreay versus Pac.
Okay, now we cooking now.
That's a good match.
This is why I had that water bottle.
See, then you just listen. You had to get sober for this one. Like, we gotta clean up for this one. That's gonna be. That's what I'm saying with AEW. Like, that's the first thing that really goes. Okay, I need to see this one.
I'm not gonna lie. There might be a margarita match because that's gonna be a 45-minute match. So I need to kill the first 20 minutes somehow. You know what I mean?
You think they go that long?
Contest. I think it'll be a no contest.
Okay,
Probably.
Or
Probably no
time limit
contest.
draw.
Yeah, so they did
Time
that.
limit draw.
I don't know if y'all seen their match in Rev Pro, but they did that and they got really booed for that. I think it'll just be a double knockout. Both men can't compete kind of thing, or a ricochet shenanigan. But I don't think there's actually a winner for this match.
Okay, all right.
I feel like it's a long match either way. I feel like I'm gonna be there for a while, and that slow build up is gonna drag ass. So I think I can get a margarita off.
Okay. Next match on the card: AEW TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné versus Akira Shida. Now, Brandy was here. If Brandy was here, he'd be like, "I'm locked in. Don't talk to me. Don't ask me nothing. My wife is wrestling. He loves some Monet, so."
He'd be keeping at the TV. Let's go! Counter! Counter!
But I agree. I agree with Dwayne, man. This one right here might be a margarita match.
Yeah, Mercedes hasn't had a good AEW match yet, so
thank you. Like, come on. Like,
well, hopefully this is her first one.
Good programs,
she does a
not
beast.
good matches.
Yeah, there you go.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever we start playing the margarita game, I start singing a song. 2 margaritas in them. That's the only thing playing in my head right now.
Oh man.
Bernie Savage said he'd have two margaritas already pre-made before this match came on. So
jeez, that's his wife.
So he's drunk and delusional. Yeah, baby.
He gotta support. He's gotta support.
Gotta support.
He's over here pressing that ramp. You're not cheering hard enough for her. He's like, I'm sorry, Brandy. I got you.
We got
my woman there, Nitram. Yeah.
We got the AEW World Championship. Bryan Danielson versus the Scapegoat Jack Perry. Now I'm interested in this match because something tells me Jack Perry is going to come out in the blue and red, and I don't know. Everyone's saying the Chicago fans are going to boo him, which I think that's the point.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. A little bit.
It's kind of the point. That's kind of the point to get the heat. You know what I mean? Make Bryan look like the super face. Something tells me some AEW fans might be cheering him on instead of booing him. So who really knows? But is this a margarita match?
Nah, I'll be sober for this one.
Yeah, now Daniel Bryan, and I call him Daniel Bryan on purpose. I don't know if you guys know that about me. I never call him Bryan Danielson. He's always Daniel Bryan to me. But he has never not had a bad match with anything. Like, he can have a match with a broomstick, and I'm like, you know what? That was good. So I think the build up. Think about it: a fresh face Daniel Bryan, and then like a scapegoat Jack Perry in Chicago. Like, that's the story in itself. It doesn't matter what the match looks like. Like, just that build up would be enough to go, okay, I think I got to stay sober for this one. Let's take a look. So
also, I want to be sober for all the small CM Punk jokes they're going to do. Like, I'm pretty sure Jack Perry's going to say, look in my eyes, tell me what you see. I'm 100% sure he's going to say it. There's so much that they're going to do. Also, this is a post-match angle. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see what's going to happen after this match. This match is to set up whatever's going after the bell
Next
rings.
contender.
And I think that has to do with John Moxley. So,
oh yeah, that too.
I don't think so. He's been calling out Darby, but
Who's been calling Darby?
John
Mox.
Mox.
Yeah, he wants to have a talk with him.
Wants to talk to him.
A talk. You have a masochist and you had a masochist and a bloodhound want to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not gonna go.
Now we got a main event. I'm not sure if this is the main event. I'm going to call it the main event.
It is. It's non-sanctioned. Okay. It has the main event.
Okay.
This has the wrong stipulation.
Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page, unsanctioned lights out steel cage match. What? Too much words for me to say.
I'm not gonna hold you. This should not be unsanctioned because this unsanctioned never goes well, right? What this needs
I think that's
to
the
be,
point.
This needs to be a body bag match, right? First one to put your opponent.
Fight.
No, not a street fight. I'm talking about first one to die. Like if you die, you lose. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you. When I saw that Swerve video when he bought his family's house, I was like, you know what, Swerve? That this was talking about. You made your money. You bought your childhood home. You're gonna renovate it for you and your family. I was like, yo, brother, I respect that. You'll see Hangman do this. I was like, you know what? If anybody on AEW ever posts anything happy ever again, I'm gonna think it's a work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna think it's work. Somebody's getting married. That's a work.
Nope.
Who's interfering? Who's interfering? Ruined happiness for me, man. I was so happy for Swerve. I was like, yo, that's incredible, brother. I was literally at work. I was like, yeah, that's such a great feel good moment.
I mean, on the flip side, though, you can't be mad at Hangman, right? Like Swerve broke into his house, cut a promo on his 6-month-old child, and told his 6-month-old when I'm done with your
that was months ago.
Me, daddy.
Bro,
that was months ago.
His house and watched him walk his pregnant wife, man.
That was months ago. You know what I mean?
I don't think he forgot.
You know he did, because if he really wanted to smoke with Swerve, he would have done this months ago. You know what I mean? My man's joined the Casino Gauntlet to get a title match just to get Swerve. Bro, you could have done something months ago. You know what I mean?
That is true though. It would have been on site. You wouldn't have waited.
It should have been on site. Now that he told you, oh yeah, you should be a father instead of a wrestler. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna burn your house down.
Look at it. Look at it like this.
Sorry. You know what?
And I'm not gonna hold you. Wait, my fault. And I'm not gonna hold you. The kayfabe in Tony Khan is amazing. He was like, yeah, I was on the phone with the local authorities all day to make sure that Hangman didn't get arrested for arson. I was like, yo, this is great kayfabe, because it's like, yeah, why would you want the other competitor in your main event to get arrested?
You should have known Tony Khan had great kayfabe when he showed up to the draft with the neck brace on.
I was just about to say the dedication with the neck brace.
He's got dedication. He's got dedication.
That shit had me weak, bro. I was like, that is too funny.
8 matches in. It sounds like we have about 5 margarita matches. Remember, everybody, drink responsibly.
Dang.
and who knows? Tony Khan likes to have like a 16-match card. So he probably has 8 matches.
Got to work for that paycheck.
Bro, I'm not gonna hold you. I saw 8 matches. I was like, yo, TK, this is kind of light.
Like, you sure? Where's the rest of the card at? Where's the other half?
Like,
the main event. The main event moves into my main event question of the night, which we are going to get to right now.
It looks like all the talking has been done. It's time for the main event.
Main event question tonight, fellas. Which rivalry is more compelling? Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page, or Pepsi Phil and Drew McIntyre? Chano Hayes?
This is an unfair question because Hangman literally burned Swerve Strickland's family's household into the ground. This is an unfair question. Like you said, Swerve touched Hangman's 6-month-old child. You know what I mean? Broke into the crib, touched his child. My man stalked his family. Listen,
Drew McIntyre took a bracelet.
Listen, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. He fed. Listen, Drew fed it. Technically, Drew fed him the bracelet. Okay, and then he claymored him to kick it out, bro. But it's insane. There's levels to like. Listen, AEW works that this is not PG because that would never fly. You know what I mean? They're lucky they're on TBS. Like, I'm sure Vince saw that happen and he had a wet dream about it immediately. He's like, oh, I remember when I did that, when my car blew up and I was inside of it. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But it's like, bro, that's insane. These are different levels of feuds. If this CM Punk Drew McIntyre is the most personal a feud can get on WWE, they're never gonna top the Swerve Hangman moment. My man's blew up his family home. Like, bro, I was just telling y'all, I felt so good for Swerve buying his family home. I was like, you know what this is all about? I'm like, shit, I'm about to go buy my family home, and I didn't even got a family home because I grew up in an apartment. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go buy my apartment. I'm about to go to Fordham Road 194, and I'm about to go buy my apartment when I get up. You know what I mean? Bro, I was in my feels. I was like, damn, that's such a dope feel good moment. You know what I mean? Just for Hangman to ruin that shit immediately. It was a high for about 6 hours. I promise you.
How you feeling, Realness? How you feeling about the rivalry? Which one's more compelling to you, the Swerve Strickland, Hangman and Page, or Pepsi feeling Drew McIntyre?
Nah, Chano is right, man. There's levels to all types of things. You talking about arson versus you screwed me out of a championship. You burnt my house down. like, come on, man. You took my bracelet with my name and my wife and the dog. You broke into my house and touched my baby and my like this is it. I wish they could find a way to do it right, but he's right. There's levels to this, man. Come on, like this is
somebody has to die.
Exactly. I'm like this. Well, goddamn, how's this going to end? You got my attention. I mean, sheesh. I want to see what happens next.
I'm telling you, somebody has to die because there's no way that this feud does not end in a match. This should be a forever feud. This has to be a forever feud because there's no way in hell if there's a winner or loser of this match. This is not going to be like, this is not going to be like Blood and Guts last year where Willa Yuta almost died. And they were like, you know what, guys, this feud is over. You know what I mean? That's not, bro. It's not going to happen. That can't happen. Like,
I lost. I guess that's the end of it.
No, bro. You have to fight until one of you draws their last breath.
And like truthfully, that's one of the best things about AEW when it comes to like storytelling. Because let's be honest, the Drew McIntyre Punk thing, once they do this Hell in a Cell thing, which is what the speculation is, once they do that, this feud is over. And 6 months from now, hate to say it, they could be in a mixed tag for all I know.
It's possible.
You know, but AEW does this thing where in the 5 years that they've been open, and I know it's only been 5 years, people don't forget. Every storyline has never been forgotten. They bring it up constantly, little things. Chris Jericho the other day brought up a $7,000 suit that Orange Cassidy poured on the first year of AEW.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah.
I remember that because I was watching it, but I was like, oh, man, like, let it go, bro. I know you made that money back. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that, like, make this Hangman feud so great. And I said this last week on the podcast. To me, it's AEW's first, like, homebred feud. This is what they're going to make documentaries on. This is the feud that's going to carry the company forever and ever. It's always going to be these two. They'll separate them for a bit, and then somehow they'll always collide. And that's why
dance partners.
Exactly. It's why I think the non-sanction that they're doing for the main event is perfect because Hangman wins this one. But the story is that Hangman's point was Swerve can't beat him without interference. But if Hangman wins the one match that doesn't actually count on record, then it was kind of pointless. And it just keeps on going and going and going until this point where it's never going to end. These two will never like each other. And for some reason, they'll always end up in each other's paths. You know, they're cross lovers in a sense. You know, they're always going to be there. Someone's got to die. Someone's got to die. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to hold you. You know what? I can't wait. I can't wait to the end of the match. I can't wait to the end of the match and Don Callis comes out and he has something in the bag. Like, oh my God, Don Callis, what's in the bag? It's a Glock. It's a Glock. Oh my God. Like,
I was hoping Jack Perry would come out with the real AEW championship just to do the stab.
Oh boy, the belt with X on it.
Yeah, I would die.
Oh, if he does that, sheesh.
He does. I came up with this question, man, because I was, the IWC is real toxic, and
oh yeah, that's true.
The WWE marks are super toxic, and everybody's saying that the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is the best storyline in wrestling right now. That their rivalry is the best in wrestling. That there's nothing right now that could compare to this, and it's just like, are you guys watching what these two men are doing? You know, Swerve Strickland, Hangman, Adam Page are doing. Swerve got a lot of heat because he tweeted that picture, of him and Hangman, and then right next to that picture was a picture of The Rock and Austin, saying that their rivalry is about the same. This is how it feels to watch this, and they're bringing that back to life. and everybody was like, "Yo, this guy's crazy. This guy's crazy." And it's just like people were like, "Nah, the CM Punk Drew McIntyre storyline is way better. It's being told better." And I don't know, man. I think the Swerve Strickland Hangman Adam Page is a more compelling rivalry right now in wrestling.
But to be honest,
than Pepsi Phil.
So let's bring it back, like on a aside from what's been happening, like outside of the stadium, like on a real compelling level, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre has done an excellent job of feuding. You know what I mean? It has been an excellent feud. I think what makes the Swerve and the Hangman thing so great is the extra stuff outside of wrestling. You know what I mean? I think if you take that away, the story's kind of lacking. But it's all these extremities. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, how can Hangman top Swerve touching his baby? Now it's, oh my God, how can Swerve top Hangman blowing up his house? You know what I mean? It's gonna come to a point where there's not gonna be an acceptable level of what's next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's what Swerve was trying to say when he tweeted that picture. I don't think he was saying that this rivalry is the same. I think he was saying pretty much like me and Hangman, The Rock and Austin, when we're in the ring, when we're next to each other, whatever we're doing, our vignettes, our promos, you could tell in kayfabe, these guys hate each other.
No, and listen, I get that.
And the Drew Macker CM Punk, you kind of don't get that every time that they're talking to each other.
I think that listen, it's
CM Punk posted the bracelet like, "Oh, I still have the real one, bro. You just ruined everything that Drew McIntyre did."
I think that was Photoshop.
You think?
Yeah, no. It was
oh no, Pepsi Phil is that kind of guy.
No, because I looked at his post that day to see if he actually posted it. He never posted it.
Okay. CIWC, China's onto y'all.
Nah, but honestly, in a sense where this lifelong rivalry can never be a regular one-on-one match ever again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whenever they face, it needs to be a stipulation, and then now you have a
violent one.
Yes, a very, very violent one, because these men have personal history. You know what I mean? So it's hard. It's very hard.
True. That's very true. Let's we are over our time, Dwayne. I'm sorry, but we're like an hour.
It's probably my fault. I'm long-winded. I say it all the time.
You're good. This is great stuff, man. We appreciate having you on.
Thank you.
Let's talk about three count trivia. We got 3 count trivia, you guys, coming up. I think we got 2 more spots we need to fill left, and I think that's coming. But the end of September, we are starting round 1. Nitram already has the championship. He's showing it to you guys. You can watch the unboxing that we did. Shouts out to Championship Culture, Brendan, the guy for getting this belt. The belt's done for us because it's tag team gold. Dwayne, real quick, man, because we've all wondered over here at 4 Sides of the Ring.
Oh boy,
would the Realness and Hollywood have beaten Championship Culture if they were in the finals at 3 count trivia?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm almost absolutely certain of it.
Ooh. Sounds like you guys need to join and see them in the finale.
Well, that's what we were trying to figure out. It was kind of mentioned, but then it was kind of like, hush, and I was like, well, nobody mentioned it again, because Hollywood is, oh my gosh, you talk about an encyclopedia, and I'm fast on certain things, but he has a stats, but he's a baseball guy, he's a sports guy, and he's that's what he did by trade, like coming out of college, when he so he is I'll bring up the moment, he'll bring up the stats, you know what I mean? So, but we're all very competitive, so I was like, ooh, I wonder how that would have went down. But yeah, I don't know. I think we would have I think we definitely would have taken the cake on that one. We consume a lot of wrestling very, very fast, and just judging by how 3 count trivia goes and how fast it is, I was like, ooh, I wonder if we could beat everybody to the punch. But
maybe we got to set up an unsanctioned match.
There we go. It's like just old fashioned war games. You know what I mean? So
you started. You go on live on Instagram and burn down Hugh's house or something.
That'll sell it. No, if Brandon, I'm gonna go to his house and burn his belt room.
Oh my God!
You see that? That's right there. Is drawing heat. See, so I think I can sell merchandise. I think I could piss kids off. So I think I have a shot.
Jesus Christ, I'm not gonna hold you. It's no, who's keeping you out of jail, Dwayne?
See, they're like, you're going to jail for arson. Like, no, it was necessary. I had to get over.
Don't worry. Brian will tweet it out. I was on the phone with Baltimore Police Department all day. Dwayne is not getting arrested.
Instead, we're going to settle this on 3-count trivia. That's the only way to actually deal with this.
In an unsanctioned lights out cage match.
There you go. I think the run will draw big money.
I think it would too. I think everybody, that's something that everybody will want to see, and I think maybe we could set that up, an unsanctioned 3-count trivia match. Dwayne Allen, Hollywood, Brian H. Waters versus the Championship Culture Boys.
Yeah,
because I think Brandon and Hugh don't think you guys could touch them.
They definitely said you can't. I heard them talk. I heard them talking about it.
But like I said, that's the whole point though. Like, we didn't hear it, so that's why I was like, because it was mentioned, and I was like. So are we doing this? And it was kind of like, nah. It was just, it's just something we just did before. And I was like, okay, all right, okay. Because if you guys want to,
I think Hugh's reaction was like, come on, man. They weren't even in the first season. I was like, I guess you're
there's a reason for that though. I was like, what does that mean though? Was it intentional? Was it what? I don't know. It's only one way to find out.
That's very true. Realness, man, thank you so much for hopping on with us and talking wrestling. We're sorry that it took so long to get you on here with us, because I know you've seen all your guys come on and talk about us, and you're probably like, who the hell are these 4 sides of the ring guys? Like, why do you guys keep talking about them? Final question here. Brendan, the guy is on. He wants to know who your favorite is. You don't have to answer. We could stop recording, and you can tell us behind closed doors that we'll never tell you the answer.
because he wants to know so bad, I'm going to tell you guys off the air.
There he goes. There it is.
I mean, everyone knows.
In a private manner.
One final question. I like to do this with all the guests. Name 4 sides of the ring in heels. Name them in heels and faces. Who do you think's a heel and who do you think's a face?
Out of all 5? Like, what do you?
Yeah, out of all 5 of us, who's heels and who's faces?
You and Nitram are definitely heels.
Love to hear it.
Marcus. It's definitely a face, and Randy Savage is like an anti-hero. So he's like he's not really good guy. He's not really a bad guy. Just depends on who he's in the ring with that week.
Tweener.
I feel like he's the super baby face. I feel like he's more of a baby face than Cody Rhodes.
You think so? You think he's Captain America?
1,000%.
Okay. What's it compared to you guys? Because you guys don't let it. You guys are not shy at all. You guys got no problem letting it rip. And I'm like, it's you guys are my kind of group, man. It's very straightforward. You guys shoot from the hip, very truthful. Like, and you guys, everything is fact based. It's not like you're like, I don't think it's cool because I just don't like the way it makes me feel. You know what I mean? A lot of people are that way. And it's like, well, brother, I didn't know it was about how you felt about it. But this. I feel like I've been good company, man. It's been an honor to be on the show. I had a lot of fun. You guys are doing an excellent job. I'm very familiar with what you guys do. I've always been familiar with 4 sides of the ring, especially when you guys introduced to the brothers and the many appearances and stuff. We talk about you guys all the time. So congratulations to you all and the much success that you guys are having and how fast you guys are growing, and it's only up from here. So I appreciate you guys taking the time just to have me on. So I'm grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Hopefully we can do it again. Hopefully we can set up that 3-count trivia match and show the world who really knows the knowledge at the Wrestling Wrealm.
Listen, it's like I said, it was tiptoed around, and I was like, so what's the deal? What's the deal with this? Are we? And they was like, nah. That's just. I was like, okay, all right.
That being said, man, Realness, tell all of our ringsiders where they can find you.
Yes, you can catch me on Twitter or X and Instagram. First and foremost at Wrestling Wrealm. It's Wrestling WREALM. That's 2 W's. On Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, and on X. You can find me personally at Dwayne Allen 24 on X. You can find me at TRDA Brand on Instagram. You can catch us every Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/Wrestling Wrealm for the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast. Also, catch a slew of other shows that we have, as well as Championship Culture every Tuesday at 8 p.m. with Brandon the Guy and Brother Hugh has the third. What else? think that's it. That's where you can find me. So that's, trust me, if you can't find me in those spaces, trust me, you won't find me anywhere. So that's where you can catch me. I'm always in the mix. I'm always on social media. I'm always in DMs. I'm always answering questions. And like I said, I'm making my rounds now. I'm doing more shows. So if you want to follow me, that is where you can do so.
You can
I was
find
feeling the music.
me.
No,
You're good. You can find me at Chanko CHANCKO_. Instagram, don't worry about my Instagram because I'm not going to accept y'all anyway. Y'all don't deserve to see my son. And I really mean that. These guys can tag me as much shit they want. I'm not accepting that request. And also, you can find us on the main Twitter for SIDESOTR on X, guys, or Twitter. If you want to find me on MySpace, it's Chano Hayes.
And of course, I'm the one that makes them say, "Oh damn, I'm Nitram," and I'm the host of 3 Count Trivia. I'm also the host of Opinionated. And then we got all this coming up. There's a new episode that dropped on Monday, which shows you who's the last entry to make it into the finals to win this beautiful, beautiful trophy. Which Championship Cultures, Brendan the Guy, is actually in that finals to win this trophy. So let's just see where it goes on with that. You can find me at Nitram_4SOTR. That's Nitram_4SOTR.
And that episode of Opinionated is called Opinionated Raw. So it's Opinionated Raw. Watch how 5 other contestants and the host screw me over. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
Man, you guys already know. The founder of MH. I'm Markus Hernandez. I'm with Chano Hayes. I'm with Nitram. We are with the Realness Dwayne Allen. Follow us on everything that we do. We appreciate you, Dwayne, coming on. We will catch you guys next week. Enjoy Friday night. Two shows of wrestling is on. Enjoy Saturday. And if you're not enjoying wrestling, you're just not watching it right. Catch you guys next week.
Next week.